All right, Anthony on Air Podcast. We are back for another episode on this show. Did Ghislaine Maxwell date Prince Andrew? That's the story today. Plus, Ghislaine is no longer objecting to protecting the identities of the John Does. Remember, there was when most of this evidence was put into play, it was all sealed. She is lifting her objections to the John Doe's identities. Will we learn the John Doe's identities? Perhaps not. We'll get into it. 270 doctors call out Joe Rogan. Djokovic gets deported from Australia. That makes me laugh. I don't care what people think. Pastor Mike Todd. Did you hear about this story, Frank?
No.
Guy
What is this?
spit in his hand and rubbed it on somebody's face during a sermon. It was disgusting.
I did hear about that. I didn't read it, but I heard
Awful.
about that. Yeah.
DirecTV is going to drop OANN, and Coulter says Trump is done. Celebrity birthdays today. We got a lot of them. I got the vid update. Real or fake fact on TikTok. Plus, we're going to do a product testing on Friday. We'll talk about that. And the two girl.
She's got two hoo-has.
All on this episode of the Anthony and I Podcast. Frankie C is here. How you doing, my man?
Doing all right. I'm like, I don't know, 8 or 9 Hershey Kisses in the hole.
Yeah, Frank's hopped up on the Hershey Kisses, so it should be a strong
My
episode.
wife bought a bag, and I've been going to town on these things.
By the time we get to the Trump topic, he should be...
I should be nice and sugared up. Plus, I'm down in cranberry juice.
Oh my!
I don't know how much more sugar you want me to have.
I don't know. I don't know. Prince Andrew likely dated Ghislaine Maxwell is the story from today.
I feel like she's a little old for him.
And ex-royal guard are saying, you think so? I think they're around the same age.
No, it was a joke.
Oh.
You get it?
Oh, I get it.
Jerk.
I have COVID. I got COVID brain, man. Everything is moving slower for me.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a long show.
Everything is moving. I'm like, I think that. Let me check their ages, Frank.
No.
Idiot. What an
you're
idiot.
wrong there.
Let me do my research here. Hold on, Frank.
Yeah.
A former officer, a royal protection officer, claims that Ghislaine Maxwell, around the time of 2001, which is also around the time of the photograph of Jeffrey and Andrew in Ghislaine's apartment, was in and out so much of the royal palace of Buckingham Palace that they all suspected, the entire staff realized and suspected at the same time, that they must be dating, that there must be some sort of a relationship going on there. She would come and go so freely, and she was allowed to. She had the pass to be in and out, but they thought they were dating.
I mean, just strictly watching The Crown, and this was 60 years ago.
I love the basis of your argument is going to be a Netflix show. This is a great.
60 years ago,
Yeah.
there was it's based on fact. I don't know how much of it is 100% accurate, but what's it called? The Queen Elizabeth's sister was dating someone that worked on the staff there in the palace, and they couldn't keep that under wraps. And this was 60 years ago, before the internet. News was news, but it wasn't as widespread as it is now. I mean, how did they keep that any kind of secret?
You know what? People forget 2001 is still pre-internet. It's still pre-internet internet. It's Google's not until 2005, Facebook not until 2009.
Yeah, but it's well past when the Queen, the 19, I think it was like the 40s or the 50s, 1950s.
Sure, of course. Yeah, good point. I mean, I'm sure if we look back, there's some sort of article about socialite Ghislaine Maxwell visiting the palace, but
it wasn't a big deal, I guess, at the time.
Yeah. Especially when you probably had hundreds of those people rolling in and out of that building on a daily basis doing.
That's true.
Right. But I guess, late at night, again, like I said, coming and going, when you got that pass to come in all the way, the palace guards thought this must be a
yes, that's seen as unusual, I guess.
Yeah. The police officer Paul Page, great name. I mean, that's just a good solid.
See, I wouldn't say Paulie.
No.
Page.
Paulie Page. Nah, you could.
Paul Page.
If he was in Brooklyn.
Seems a little Like there's too much of a stoppage after Paul.
Yeah, Paul Page.
Paulie Page rolls.
It does.
What
If
did he
he
do?
if he was in Brooklyn, he would be Paulie Pages.
Right?
I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers. Paul Page said a colleague of mine remembered her coming in 4 times in one day. She kept coming in and out, in and out. Ghislaine, Prince Andrew, and what?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? I missed it.
I said that's what she said. But go ahead.
That's what she said.
Anyway, he said this as part of a new documentary on Britain's ITV, which will air tomorrow or today if you're in Britain. I don't even know how it works. This is a Monday podcast. It's airing on Tuesday in Britain. Called
It's
Ghislaine.
Tuesday already, I think.
Wait, this is about as original as a title as Anthony on air. Ghislaine, Prince Andrew, and the pedophile.
Ooh.
I mean, technically, there's 3 pedophiles in that sentence,
Yeah. I mean, that's redundant.
or 2 and 1 alleged pedophile. Still the standard.
They're all.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
A banker friend of Maxwell's who socialized with the now disgraced group also shared the same sentiment, saying, I got the sense that Prince Andrew and Ghislaine had probably been girlfriend and boyfriend in the past. Her name is, how would you say this, Frank? Euan.
Euan.
Ewan McGregor?
Hune?
Ewan McGregor is on the record saying that they thought they were dating.
And who is this again? Who's Yoon?
This is a friend of the trio.
Yeah.
Of the Prince, the Pauper, and the pedophile.
So a reliable source, I guess.
Yeah. They had an easy warmth around each other, he said. Became friends with Maxwell at Cambridge University, recalled being invited to a dinner party at Epstein's New York townhouse by Maxwell, who said it was for my friend Prince Andrew. She described Andrew as being her friend, not Jeffrey's. This is all going to be in this new documentary that airs tomorrow.
Reminds me of that Seinfeld episode. Ian. Ian? No, Ian. You don't remember that one.
No, I don't.
Okay. Then again, you have the COVID brain.
I got COVID brain. And I'm trying to plot out a nose blow right now. So hoping you start talking about something.
I'm going to talk about how much you have the vid. And we should all focus on your next nose blow. Let's focus in. Here it comes.
Here's the question. Shut up. Stop it. Here's the question. Do you think that, I mean, that would be a pretty, okay, here's what's weird. Let me think about this before I say it. Frank and I have been friends for nearly our entire lives.
All right.
We have other friends that you don't see on the show besides Janine that have been friends since high school. So really, really long time. We have never really cross-contaminated as far as the dating scene goes.
Oh, like you date someone and then break up and then I would date them.
Right.
Yeah, that's always, I feel like there's a code there. It
happens, but
sure. I mean, if it's all agreed upon and everybody's cool, it could happen. It just never happened with our group. Yes. Oh, see, when that picture comes up, Anthony has a picture of. That means he's blowing his nose, folks. And he's got the mic muted.
Yeah,
there he's back.
I got the thing back on. Gotta make sure I got no boogies. Nobody wants to see a big fat booger on my nose.
We just saw one.
Anyway. But I'm sure it happens.
Sure.
I just and again, we're looking at not a huge moral compass in this group.
Yeah, I don't know why we're thinking like they're not going to do something slimy or sleazy.
It's still strange though that she would date Epstein and then date Prince. I don't know. Why doesn't that sit right with me? It doesn't. People are probably gonna.
If that's the only thing that doesn't sit right with you,
no, it's not the only thing.
I mean, come on.
I'm just saying it feels like one of those odd, weird things. But I guess that's.
Why wouldn't that have come? I feel like that would have come up. Maybe not. I don't know why, but like, especially in the Ghislaine trial. You know, her time. How long did they say they dated for?
It doesn't say. It just says this was around 2001.
All right. I mean,
it wouldn't have come up in the Ghislaine trial, especially she didn't.
Well, she was on this. She was in the picture. Yeah, that's true. Why would that? Yeah. All right. Well, we'll
Yeah.
see what happens in the Prince Andrew trial. Which, holy crap, did we get taught a lesson in the comments? Yeah, it's a civil trial. No jail. We got it. Thank you.
Why? What did we say?
We
We
said,
said
oh, I
jail?
wonder if they go if he has to serve time. Is it over here or over there? We were speculating,
Oh,
but we
funny.
forgot it's a civil trial and there's no jail time.
I didn't forget that. I didn't put two and two together.
Right. And
Also,
everybody
had
in the
COVID.
comments was like, "Come on, guys, it was civil trial." I'm like, all right, got it.
Here's another weird detail. You want to hear this? This is so strange.
Okay.
All right, let me put it after our Jumpstart coffee read. This is
what a tease you are.
freaky. It's freaky. It's weird. It's about how Prince Andrew used to sleep.
Do we want to know?
Nope, but I read it, so now everybody has to know it. And I can't unknow it. 15% off Jumpstart Coffee Company. Greatest coffee I've ever had. By the way, I have not had it since I've had COVID.
Why not?
I just can't. When
Make
I
you
get
feel
sick,
better.
I can't do the bitter things. Beer, coffee. I
I
don't.
don't think that is it bitter.
It's not. No, but it's good. It's strong. I just can't. I lose a taste for that.
Like when I'm sick, I like hot, warm, like soup and hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Coffee would help. I'm not saying it's gonna cure you, but I'm saying it might help you, like move things along sinus wise.
Maybe I should. I don't know, but I haven't had it in days, and I look. This is how I look when I don't have it. This is 90% lack of Jumpstart, 10% COVID.
Don't blame Jumpstart for your look.
Lack of Jumpstart.
Oh, even so. When you get Jumpstart back in your life, I still wouldn't attribute it to them.
Better. Anyway, best coffee I've ever had. I miss it so much. I can't wait to get over this stupid virus so I could get some Jumpstart coffee into my system. Greatest coffee, great cause that they support. Navy SEAL Foundation, 50% of their profits go to the Navy SEAL Foundation. Frank's sporting the dark roast blend right now, which is so delicious. Big body, dark chocolate, a little smokiness, little bitty smokiness towards the end there on that flavor. So good though, so delicious. And you save 15% off when you use the promo code AOA15. Order with the link in the description below. According to the Royal Protection Officer Paulie Pages, Prince Andrew is known for having 50 or 60 stuffed toys on his bed at the Royal Palace.
While he sleeps? Or like on the bed, like while it's made? Either way, it's weird. But I just want to know.
I don't know why you need to make that.
I just want to know if he's surrounded by them while he's sleeping, or if like he has to clear them every night and then put them back on every morning.
That I would find more irritating, because then he would be a piece of shit and also like one of these like hoity-toity people with their bed setups.
It's like stuffed animals, like
he said stuffed. He said stuffed toys, but I'm assuming like stuffed animals, dolls.
Like you would win at a fair and stuff.
I guess.
All right.
50 to 60.
How big is this bed?
Also, he probably doesn't make his own bed in the Royal Palace, right?
He's probably got someone to do it for him, and that person has to set him up. You think it's like a different way every time, or is there like a set?
I don't know.
The big ones in the back, smaller ones in the front.
If that were me, though, I would have strangled him to death. There'd be no way.
I would have burned that room down. I would have been like, no, this bed's on fire now.
By the way, we didn't talk about this because we didn't do a show the other day because of COVID, but they stripped him of his titles.
So he's not Prince Andrew anymore. He's just Andrew.
Yeah, no longer a royal.
He's just Andy.
Doesn't get the protections, doesn't get the title, so...
He gets to live there, though?
No, he's been booted. He's out.
So what is he doing?
I don't know. I guess so. It's funny. We were talking about like, oh, what is it like to have a member of the royal family on the stand in the United States? And technically, he's not a member. I mean, he is, but he's not.
I guess not anymore. Well, yeah, he
doesn't have the title anymore.
So what is he, like, bachelor pad, like an apartment building?
I don't know. Oh yeah,
community bathroom and all that?
I mean, I think he has places where he lives. Like he just sold that ski chalet so he can pay. He's in a ton of debt too. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, how does he make money? I mean, if he's cut off, Is he cut off from the
Okay,
funds?
that's interesting because you get paid for being a member of the royal family, and then there's also like an allowancy thing. The
Mm,
English people will be able to speak to this way better than I can. So there's always money. But even like when the redheaded kid left with his hot wife from Hollywood, what's her name? Markle.
it's like, yeah, Harry.
Harry and Markle. Yeah. Um they gave up all the money.
Right.
They just wanted the protection, and she wouldn't allow that. The queen wouldn't even allow the protection, which was kind of a big deal. Andrew's got nothing. He's got no protection or whatever. But I think there is a level. There's different levels of it. And my wife knows this. She's up on all this stuff. Where like if you're in, they call it something, the court or something or whatever it is, and you're in it and you're doing things and you're like making appearances and you're contribute like you get paid X amount. And then it's like if you're just kind of in the family and you're not really doing much, there's still some money that you get, and then you get like the protection of like the detail. You get the
Mm,
detail, so nothing happens to you.
yeah.
So there's like that level of it too. And
I
not
wonder,
everybody who's in the royal family gets money. Just gets money. There's different levels of it, as
is
I
it
understand it.
is it the permanent boot or is it like after the case?
Oh, I think he's. I mean, I don't. I wonder if anybody's ever been brought back in. I don't really know.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know, but he is fucking out. Like we were like wondering, like, oh, would they even wind up giving him up? She took his fucking jacket and kicked his ass out to the curb. Just get the fuck out. Which
Good.
is kind of big of the royal family. Like, they didn't have to go that way. They could have just continued to cover it up and do all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Good for
So
them. That's a win. I think you just kick his disgusting ass out.
yeah,
Good.
just kick his ass out. Just it's on you.
Yeah.
Sucks for a mom though, especially like her. Like you're just. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to
That's
be tough.
yeah. I can't imagine that's a good thing for a parent to go through.
Especially her, like she's old and like everybody's got opinion on everything that she does, especially parenting. And look how like awful he turned out to be.
Yeah.
So
I know.
that's Prince Andrew. He's fucking out. Um. Also, by the way, I think that they definitely did date. I think that Ghislaine. I can't imagine how much mileage is on that fucking engine. I mean, a lot.
Maybe. So what makes you say that they dated?
I just think they did. I just think that she dated a lot of people. I think that's how she got in and out of a lot of circles. I just think that she was fucking loose and banging people left and right and getting that information and
Right. So I never understood. Like I get it. It's like a general term, socialite, right? That's what they refer to
yeah,
her as.
yeah.
But what does that mean? You're not. That's not like a job. You just bounce around from social circle to social circle, right?
It's just people that have money that don't need to work, and that's kind of their thing is showing up at parties and social engagements and
But like you're not making money from. I mean, I don't. It has nothing to do with how you make money. It's just how you.
no,
It's just your social
yeah,
circle.
yeah. And I think that's why you get that title because if you are making money, if you're the CEO of a company, they would say, "There goes the CEO of the company."
Right. Socialite, just like I don't know. I can't
Usually,
name
it's
another one. I can't name any.
oh, there's a lot around, and also I think it's also a title of like you just go out a lot, like you're just part of the social scene,
Right.
being a
You
socialite.
show up at all the fancy to dos and
Yeah, like I
whatever.
would say now, like all the Real Housewives are socialites. Like even though a lot of them have like little side projects and they got their own little companies and little things that they do for money, I think
Right.
they're mostly known for just being people who go out and are known for being known.
Gotcha.
Like that's kind of what Trump was though. Like Trump was kind of like he was just like in the New York scene. He was one of the big real estate developers and
Well, you wouldn't have referred to him as a socialite. You would have said he's a real estate guy or a talk show, a game show host or something.
but before the game show, I'm talking like before the game show host years, like
Real estate. It's been forever. He's been in real estate.
there's hundreds of real estate people like him, and actually a lot that were more successful than him. But where he started to break out was like doing the casinos and then the Miss America or Miss Universe, whatever one
Right.
it says. So he starts to get into all these things and get his name in the paper for other reasons, and then showing up at parties, and you're a socialite. You become a socialite,
Right?
even though you're the real estate guy. If you cross over that, if you break out of that bubble and cross over into mainstream,
Mm.
I think you become a socialite.
All right.
There's famous socialites. A lot of the TikTokers and Instagram people become. This is,
See, but I feel like they're just TikTokers. I mean, I guess you could be both.
you know what the same term now is influencer. Like, what's
Yeah,
the difference?
that's true.
That's kind of what an influencer is today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that's what you were doing back then. You were getting in the paper for, and you were wearing.
What are they wearing and what are they doing? What's cool?
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
All that shit.
All that shit.
During her trial, Ghislaine objected to releasing or divulging the names of 8 John Does. And she has lifted those objections. But here's what happens.
Yeah.
So she had the chance to object to having those names unsealed. And then the actual John Does had a chance to object. 7 out of the 8 already objected to it. It didn't matter because her objection to it superseded theirs in this particular trial that she just went through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but now that the trial's over,
so now that the trial, so they put it out to everybody. 7 out of the 8 John Does come back and say, do not release my name. Didn't matter because at the same time, Ghislaine also said, do not release those names. So they didn't release the names. Okay. Now that the trial is over, this goes to Judge Loretta Preska because in the Southern District here in New York, because she's basically no longer objecting to them. And her lawyers are saying 7 out of the 8 of them have their own objections, so it doesn't even matter. So those names technically still can most likely not get out,
right?
Because of those objections that they have. But that's going to be up to the judge. She's going to rule on that, and we'll wait and see on that. But it's interesting, though, that Ghislaine was kind of like, I don't care anymore, and don't worry about the objections. Because they were saying it might hurt her chance at a fair trial, which I didn't understand. And it just kind of seemed like this was just the machine still running where she's just,
Yeah, but what's weird is they might do a retrial. So, I mean, she changes her stance on this.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Why would she? I mean, I'm sure she has whatever insane reason, but if your stance during the trial or before it was don't release, I object.
Yeah.
And you're staring down maybe a retrial. Why? I don't know. Maybe to take the focus off of her a little bit.
I don't know. I wonder.
Yeah.
I also I'm sure people are going to start to wonder, is this a signal of that she's going to start giving up people because she doesn't give a shit anymore?
Yeah. If she's not objecting to protecting the John Doe identities, then
that
we were talking about it last week, is that she might be, would she roll? But she or her family or whoever said, no, she's not going to roll over. She's not going to roll over. Well, this is I feel like instance number 1 where she's not even being offered anything and she's rolling over.
Yeah.
Imagine if they offer her something.
Yeah.
This is just I withdraw my objection for no reason or that we know of, that they didn't offer her any kind of deal.
I also watched the video of the juror. I watched the interview where the juror said that they never asked him if he was abused.
Right.
The guy genuinely didn't think. And the reporter was like, are you sure? Because I reviewed it this morning and it's on there. And he's like, I don't think so. And you could tell in his face it was pretty genuine.
Yikes.
I mean, if this guy, I know people are like, oh, he was a plan to do this to get her off. I'm not buying that. I don't buy that.
What people are saying too is not only he was probably part of it, fine, but then afterwards, when the jury was released, they would they have gotten to him?
Oh, I mean, maybe.
And said, you know what, go on the show and say that you said something wrong, and and they would do a new trial.
I mean, it was pretty convincing. I thought he gave a hell of a performance if he was performing, but also there was this there was this sense of I want attention. I did get that from the guy. Because if I'm on that jury, I don't know if I'm talking about this stuff publicly.
No, I want it to be
I
done
would
with, and I don't want to even think about it anymore.
exactly. These guys out there doing interviews. Like,
Is there any other jurors doing any kind of interviews?
yeah, there was another one because they found out about another one. It was also, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Rogan back in the news the other day. 270 doctors basically wrote an open letter to Spotify over the false and
Good.
societally harmful assertions that appear on the Joe Rogan show.
Good.
Yes.
Call it out.
They want Spotify to take action against misinformation spread on Joe Rogan's podcast. An open letter signed by 270 healthcare professionals stated, quote, by allowing the propagation of false and societally harmful assertions, Spotify is enabling its hosted media to damage public trust in scientific research and sow doubt in the credibility of data-driven guidance offered by medical professionals.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if you want to question things, but to say, I mean, I don't know exactly what the complaint is pointing out. I don't listen to the Joe Rogan's show. But if he's saying stuff like the vaccine, if he's saying stuff like the vaccine's not good and don't take it and just do this and you'll be fine, that's you're giving people medical advice without you're not a doctor, and
I agree. He's not though.
I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he said that he was scheduled to get the vaccine and then just didn't because a UFC event got canceled or moved or whatever it was. And then somebody close to him got vaccinated and then it had 2 strokes. And then that gave him cause for that kind of pumped the brakes on him getting it. I think that the thing with this is there's 2 things here. One, my problem with Joe is, I like the fact that he talks about that he's a comic and this is all very silly to him that he's been doing this podcast for 10 years and now it's grown into one of the biggest media entities that we currently have. I don't think anybody saw that coming, especially him.
Right.
I feel like, I mean, and not to sound like a jerk, I knew he was going to be this big because Mark Maron was getting huge and I just when you're doing what Frank and I do for years, like we saw satellite radio coming before satellite radio hit. Like we kind of know these things. I just saw a podcast just becoming more and more of a thing. So I knew I knew somebody was gonna get. And by the way, somebody is going to supersede him and pass. Like it's only going to get bigger. Like podcasting in general is only going to get bigger. So I like the fact that he keeps things so light and thinks it's all fun in games and whatever. And he says all the time, like people shouldn't listen to me. I'm a comedian doing a podcast. I'm not a doctor, which I respect.
But I get that. There's a lot. I don't like that argument.
No, I respect that he says it, but what I was going to say was to finish the point was that at a certain point, when you call an audience that size, right, you have to feel some sort of a responsibility towards that audience. And you have to, you just have to be responsible for it. Like, this, we've talked about this. Like, like when you're on the radio, people come to you all the time, like, oh, talk about my thing or talk about my song or my business or whatever. And at a certain point, you got to kind of be like, no, because I don't know your business and I don't know how shitty your thing is. And I'm not going to, that's what people don't really understand, especially business people, because I've had to tell people no a whole bunch. And it's like, you work so hard at doing this and you form this relationship with people and you can't take that for granted. You just can't.
You got to be responsible. And I mean, if we talk about stuff, we talk about what we know. And then when we don't know something, we speculate and we go, listen, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's the other thing.
Which I think that he does
Which
too.
is fine. Yeah, I think that's okay. If you're allowed to talk things out, to get it out in the air, to debate it, you're allowed to, bring things up in a healthy debate. I think we fall into trouble, and I don't know if he's done this or not, When you fall into trouble is when you go, well, this COVID's not a big deal, or I don't think I don't think everybody should take this seriously or
Which
that.
is not what he's saying.
Yeah,
Where I
exactly.
think he falls into trouble is he gives this huge platform to people who perhaps maybe I don't want to say don't deserve it, or it shouldn't come with some sort of a massive warning. You know what I mean? Like a massive
Like
warning.
he'll give platforms to who? To what kind of people?
Well, to Alex Jones, like all the time. Which
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm against, because I think that Alex Jones is a caricature of himself at this point and should be laughed at.
So if he
Um,
brings him on and see, it's weird because can you bring someone like that on and treat them, and you don't have to agree with them. You just like
well,
challenge them on everything that they say.
let me give you the other problem. And this isn't Joe's fault. So I got to get to point number 2 about Joe. Um, Especially for the people that don't agree with my point number 1, because point number 2 contradicts point number 1. So hang with me.
I'm
But
with you.
here's the problem. Joe puts on a doctor who doesn't believe in the vaccine, or puts on Alex Jones. And then all the articles the next day are anti-vax podcast Joe Rogan gives a platform to blah blah blah. So it's not exactly what he says, but it's the mere action of what he does, and then how that is run through the media, which is frankly unfair to him. So
So
I
what?
think that the media is as much to blame for these type of things, because I've seen all these podcasts. Like, for instance, McCullough, right? Remember that guy McCullough? He had that doctor on who
Mhm.
was going through all those things. And I listened to that entire 3 hour fucking show with that guy. And the best thing that Joe did, and I've said this before, was he said to McCullough, would you come back on with somebody who disagreed with you and had a debate with them?
Right.
And the guy, to his credit, said yes.
Okay.
Okay, now that hasn't happened yet. And the guy said that nobody wants to debate him because everybody's afraid of him and blah, 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 so on and so forth. Okay. What I'm saying is I think Joe is so big that instead of, especially when it comes to something, look, having Alex Jones on or some political person or whatever, that's one thing. When you're talking about medical stuff, that is a highly heated debate in our current times where people's lives are kind of at stake. I think you should take some extra special responsibility for it. And if I was Joe in that instance, before having McCullough on, I wouldn't have had McCullough on and then said, would you come on with somebody else? I would have just, that would have been the show. Like McCullough on this side and the other person on the other side. And that would have been the show I would have had. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
the show I would have done. I would have had that be the presentation, not, oh, you come on and do your thing for 3 hours and then we'll see if we can make it work with schedules. Because, I mean, this. Oh, I'd love to have you back on, or I'd love to come back on. And you go, yeah. And you're
No,
like,
I know, but it's the Joe Rogan show. You should be able to, that's not like some Joe Schmo show. It's the number one.
I agree. But I mean, if again, 270 healthcare professionals signed this letter to
Yeah, no, I
Spotify,
I
you don't think
agree.
there's one in that group that was like, I'll fucking step up and talk to this guy?
Yeah, no, I'm for it. I just don't. I want to see. I'm trying to pin down exactly what he said or did that made these doctors call him out. Now, did Joe Rogan get up there and say, "I think the vaccine is BS and you could fight it yourself," or blah blah blah? Or I mean, what did he say? It's just because he had
He's skeptical of the vaccine
right.
because of he talked about his friend who got the
His,
strokes.
mhm.
And then he got a flood of information from people describing all the adverse effects that they've been going through since getting the vaccine. Now, to the healthcare professionals' credit, they're not asking for those episodes to be taken down. This is not like a let's cancel Joe.
So what do they want?
What they're asking for is some form of responsibility, or whether it's a warning or whatever it is. There's got to be something of where you just can't flat out go on a show of this size now and spout misinformation.
Right.
Okay, now my second point earlier, if I can go back to that, is if you don't have a show like this where an unpopular sentiment can make it to the top, you're kind of in trouble as a society. Because when the day comes when there is something wrong, and many people may think that this is the day with this vaccine, whether you and I personal thoughts differ on, our thoughts are together differing on that, some people think that this is the day, there's got to be some way for that to come to the surface and have that attention and have that, you know, ability to get to the top. If it
No, I
wasn't the
agree.
case, you wouldn't have had Watergate come to the, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's no
It's
outlet
different though.
to
It's
seek
yeah.
the truth, there's
The truth is one thing. Yeah, no, I get it. The problem is, I think, it's when you have, when it's as not cut and dry, but when it's like science is telling us all that the sky is blue, and you got someone going, oh, the sky is red, and I'm telling you guys, it's red, it's red, it's red, and that's is that the kind of, and then all of a sudden everybody picks them up and goes, no, this guy's, maybe it is red, maybe it's red, maybe it's red.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and he does that to a degree. Like when this McCullough guy brought up the fact that you can't get COVID more than once, Joe was kind of like, I don't know. I hear a lot of people. And then McCullough had an argument for that too about why that's happening to people. And I don't know. I just agree with it. I hear so many people years apart after testing negative several times, then test positive again. Like how do you?
Well, I
And
think it's the variance. I think, I don't know.
it could be, and it could be, but this guy is up there going, "No, you just can't. It's scientifically proven. You just can't get it." And I'm like, how could you sit there and say that and be like, "Well, this is what happened." And there is a lot of there's a lot of times where he challenges the person, but I think there's some times where he's got to step up a bit more and really, really challenge them.
Yeah,
Really, really challenge them.
if you're gonna be interviewing on that kind of level, you've got to have you've got to step up your own level. You got to be prepared enough to.
I think so. I think it's time for Joe to be responsible.
Because if I'm not a doctor, I'm not, or a scientist, how could I properly question my guest? I mean,
Right.
I'm not saying I have to be a scientist to interview a scientist, but I just, you got to have a little more. But if that's the other thing, why can't someone with no information talk to a scientist and get the information?
Well, he is. I mean, this guy in particular. I keep going back to McCullough because that's the last one I really listened to.
Right.
There was another one where I listened to a little bit of it, but I didn't get most of it. I just didn't have the time. But he does challenge them. He does, go back at them. He doesn't just let them.
So I'm wondering. I mean,
But I think the problem is people. And then here's the other issue, right? There's a long form thing, right? We're a long form show. We do an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
mhm.
That doesn't fit into 98% of society. The long form shows are incredibly popular. People listen to them. I mean, people stick with us. People listen longer to this podcast than they listened to me when I was on the radio,
Right.
like way longer, and that's average. That's not even like, that's average.
Yeah.
So people are consuming this sort of material more. The problem is again, when it gets filtered through the media, everything is bite sized, Twitter under 280 characters, headlines that don't get read and just get shared on social. So you lose those little intricacies of when he steps up and says, well, actually, I think it's this, or how can you be so sure about, like, when he's doing that sort of work, which he does do, it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. But I don't think he does it enough. Is also my point. I don't think he does it enough. I think he should do it
Okay.
more. And if you're gonna bring again, if I was gonna bring on somebody like that, especially with the amount
You're
of
not going to be able
knowledge,
to match them.
you're not going to be able to. You need to have somebody else in the room that can go toe to toe with them.
Now, how? But I guess it's because it's not like you're bringing on like an actor. You don't have to be an actor to interview an actor, and you don't have to be a doctor to interview a doctor. So the difference is when it has to do with public health, maybe then
I
you have to
think,
bring on
and
the
I think if
variant.
it's not the if it's I think you just hit it right on the head. If it's not the pandemic, then
I
who
think there's a lot of
cares?
special right. There's a lot of special circumstances that warrant delicacy, I guess.
Yeah,
And I guess the vaccine. Why? I don't think it should at this point. I think we should. The vaccine should be. You know, my own opinion is we get vaccinated and we just move on. We go on to the next thing. Why? Because why? We've been stuck on whether or not we should be vaccinated for the last year, and it's like, all right, we're vaccinated now. Let's and then you got to get the thing. Let's just. It should be like, yeah, of course, and then let's go. Let's just move on to the next thing. It's like debating whether or not the Earth is round. It's like, no, we understand it already. Let's move on. But not everybody has that
yeah.
is up to speed on the science yet.
And there's such holes. Like it's so funny because in that McCullough episode, Rogan challenged him and asked him if you're right, if this McCullough is right, then why are so many doctors in opposition of him? And his argument to that was they're all just following the edict that's been handed down from the government, and that they're all so afraid to stand up against the norm that that's why all those doctors are so for it. And I just, to me, that you lose a lot of credibility in that argument because basically what you're saying is Frank, nobody is as strong or as tough as I am. They're all sheep, and I'm the one who's speaking
Yeah,
out.
I've got the balls. Listen to me. It's like, come on, dude.
Go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah,
like, give me a fucking break, you know.
uh,
And this guy's,
everybody. It's like, no.
he's not the only one. There's other doctors that are also on his side, but the vast majority of doctors are just like just get the vaccine. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things. Like if someone came on and said cancer is not deadly, you have to be responsible enough to be like, no, you're wrong.
Right.
It's killing tons of people all the time. So I think maybe in this case, it's like, well, the vaccine's, it's proven to not be good. You got to be responsible enough, I guess, to be like, no, it's actually proven the opposite. You can't just be like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to be like, no, matter of fact, what you're saying doesn't add up, and you're saying you're a doctor, but you haven't, your information's incorrect. Or you get someone on because if you know he's coming on to say this stuff, you're obviously bringing him on for a reason. He's got some kind of thing he wants to say. You're not just bringing on random doctor number one.
Right. You're not surprised at what
You're
he's
not
going to say. You
surprised
know
at
what he's going to say.
his point of view.
Yeah.
So if you know he's coming on to say the vaccine is bullshit, you have either you got to have the responsibility to either say no, the science is backing up the vaccine, or have someone who can speak more intelligently.
Right. Because that's the thing too with Rogan. Like he is a comedian and it is just a silly little podcast in his mind. And I get that. But when you have a doctor in the room and you're going to be discussing serious topics, like of course you should joke. You can sneak jokes in here and there. There's always a room for a joke. But you do have to be you do have to rise to that occasion. Say what you will about journalism and journalists, which journalism is in the shitter right now. But this is why journalists are really good. You ever hear a journalist ask the same question 6 different ways, especially when they know they're getting the runaround? It's because that's their job. They are picking apart every little fucking detail to find a hole in your story if there is one. And if there isn't one, then great. But if there is, when you keep challenging something or you keep coming at it from different angles, you're going to kind of discover it.
Right.
And Joe definitely doesn't do that. He definitely doesn't do that because he's worried about entertaining the audience,
Right. And
which is
that's the difference.
important.
Yeah, it's a different though. It's a different kind of show when you bring on a serious topic. Sure, you want to entertain, but you also, if you're bringing on a serious topic, you also have to provide information that's useful to people.
Right.
And if you're bringing on a comedian and an actor and a singer, you could talk about their jobs and it's not life or death and all this stuff. But you bring on a doctor and you have he or she, talk about life, literal life or death, then you got to go a little more serious. I mean, yeah, you could slip in a joke here or there, but for the most part, people are going to take it seriously.
And I think that, and I also think this is also just such flack back from the whole I word medicine that he took and how, and not for nothing, he was right about that. Like he was right, and the media got it wrong. I think he was. By the way, I still think he was wrong to take 11 fucking things and then act like, oh, look how great I feel. Like then we don't know what the fuck which one it was.
Yeah, he was
that
right
did it,
about
or
what he was only right about the fact that there exists an eye medication, the I word, for people too. That's all he was right about. It wasn't.
yeah,
We don't know if he was right about it working.
you're correct. But again, I mean, we went through that, right? We
Yeah.
talked about that at the time. I mean, there has to be some serious concern when every article called it this one thing when they all knew that it wasn't. Or maybe they didn't know, and that's scary because it's the news, they should know. Like it's one thing if you and I aren't up to the latest science and what's classified as
Yeah, we don't
what.
have doctors on our staff.
Right. Exactly. Let me check the AOA payroll here. I'm pretty sure there's not a fucking MD on it.
Right.
Those huge news organizations not only have doctors, but they have lawyers that specialize in medicine on what they can say on their air or in their print editions, and it went through all of those places, and that is scary. That is really scary how that happened.
Or did it go through all of that? Because a lot of times, what I'm imagining, maybe I'm wrong, but when a news story comes in and it's, do they have to run it through every single channel? We have to. All right,
yeah.
here's what.
I mean, not breaking news, but if they're going to,
How long does that take? Like if Joe Rogan goes live now, and I want to be live with my story in the morning.
Well, no, I mean if you're on the 6 o'clock news and you're going with something like this is going to be your story, like that gets passed through, that gets looked at. Those scripts get looked at.
If it's just a 2-second or 2-minute story in an hour-long thing, does that get run up to legal and
even still, like, and when Rogan had Gupta on, when he had Sanjay Gupta, and he was like, why did CNN call this that when you knew that it wasn't? And he was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, why didn't they run it by you? You're the fucking medical expert of the goddamn thing. And he's like, well, they didn't. And then not even that, which, okay, I can accept speed and time being of the essence and all that. There wasn't a retraction that said that they were incorrect and that he was right. There wasn't. They had updated stories. They changed some things around, but they never came flat out and said, we mislabeled this.
Right.
And we were wrong.
Yeah.
They never did that. And that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Djokovic, not only is he not allowed in the Australian Open, but they didn't even let the guy back at the country.
So where is he right now?
I don't know.
He's somewhere over the ocean, meandering.
He's just, yeah. I know people are going to be like, well, you're free. First of all, and this is really pissing me off about conservatives right now. This is big in the conservative world. They're all losing their shit over Djokovic, and also in New Zealand, this girl on TikTok, right? She was here in the United States. She went back to New Zealand. She's quarantining. under like a travel quarantine, and she's like wearing a bracelet, like this blue bracelet to let everybody know
Right.
that she just got back from America, and this is the deal.
Okay.
People are losing their mind. They're like, "Why don't you just tattoo numbers on us?"
Oh, give me a friggin'
They're
break.
losing their mind. So, and then she said, like, they were saying that basically it was reported on. This might have been Infowars. This might have been what's his name's thing, Alex Jones's thing, that they were like, "Oh, this is what they're doing in New Zealand." It's not what they're doing. They're not throwing bracelets on every New Zealander. It just happened to be this one girl who came back from traveling to a COVID hotspot, America,
Ugh.
and she was quarantining and identifying so people knew, like, hey, like, so that's kind of
Yeah,
what it is.
that's
So
what
that's bugging me right now. But also, here's the other part: New Zealand and Australia. It's not the United States of America. I know we want the whole world to be modeled after us, but these other countries can do whatever the fuck they want. Like the gun laws in Australia are vastly different than what we have here in the United States. Things are just different in other places. People are losing their minds.
yeah. They don't operate under the same laws we do.
They
Number
don't.
one.
And it's like, if they don't want this guy back in their country, like, he's not going back to the country. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
Get over it.
This is the same thing with, remember when Johnny Depp was trying to sneak these weird dogs back into, I forget where he was going. And they were just like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Like, you
Yeah.
can't bring chewing gum into Singapore. Like, there's just certain weird shit that you just can't do at all these locations.
Yeah.
And that's their rules. It is what it is.
Agreed.
Don't you think it's weird, though, that Australia was so stringent on COVID and they're on the other side of the world? I'm not going to check a map. I don't even think they're on planet Earth, but people tell me they are.
As far as we know.
They're so the fuck far away. How did they get it over there? I mean, first of all, I think it was
People travel.
Tom Hanks, because that's where he was when he had it. But also, like, you'd think that these islands would be able to just shut this off, especially because a lot of them restricted travel. Like, Australia restricted travel for a long time.
And New Zealand, when they get a case of COVID, they fucking shut down.
Like,
It's
everything.
like it's they go into lockdown mode, and what's great about that. I'm not saying we should but they have a little over 5 million people is their population in New Zealand so
How
far.
many?
5 million in New
Jesus.
Zealand.
I grew up with more people in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's less than the population of New York City.
Yeah.
So this is the whole country of New Zealand, 5 million people. They've had 52 deaths from COVID. 52. That's it. I mean, it's still, any death is bad, but 52 is a small number.
Yeah.
They lock it down because they realize, they recognize the seriousness of it. They've had over 15,000 cases, and that's not per day or anything. That's in total.
That's
So
that's unbelievable.
Isn't that's out of 5 million people, small place, they get a whiff of this thing and then they lock it down because they want to keep it under control. I mean, I'm not saying we should
Sounds like
lock
that's what you're
everything
saying.
down.
Also sounds like you want to take away our guns.
We have we have way more people, obviously, and way more area to cover.
I thought
So
you
it's
were going
not
to say
like
assholes. You probably should have said assholes.
I'm not. You could say that, but it's just maybe we learn from other countries is all I'm saying. Every now and then, I mean, take it seriously is all I'm saying. It's not it's not the flu, or it's COVID. It's a different thing, and it's deadly. So that's all I'm saying.
I was cackling because there was this Soprano. I'm in a couple of these like Sopranos Facebook groups. I don't even know why.
Every now and then a post comes up. Yeah, I get that.
Dude, no, I'm in like 4 of them because now I can't find where this is going to be now. It's going to drive me crazy. Also, is this the mayor of Chicago?
I don't know who the mayor of Chicago is.
Oh, okay. Because they keep making a big deal out of the mayor of Chicago. Looks like the homeless woman that approached whatchamacallit, Junior, when he was losing his marbles and wandering around Newark.
I have no idea.
Anyway, do you remember when they found out that Vito was gay?
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Bobby Bacala goes, I know one thing. I don't think he should be allowed back in this social club. Like we can't have him back in this social club. And then the other guy goes, like, he's got to go. Like he yells at him like that. It was, oh, here it is. I found it. This is so fucking funny, dude. So there's Bobby Bacala, and the caption is, well, he can't play in the Australian Open no more. That much I do know. And the other guy goes, Australian Open, he's gotta go.
He's gotta go.
He's not allowed in the country anymore.
I mean,
That's fucking funny.
yeah, that's what they did. They said Australian Open. No. He could watch it on TV, but he can't be anywhere near this country, pal. Hey, when you're a dick, this is the consequences for being a dick.
Oh, I thought that was so fucking funny. It caught me so funny when I read that the other day. I mean, I was in the middle of a fever dream too, so that could have been part of it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're a little off today.
I'm so fucking gone. It's not even funny. Anyway.
So yeah, sorry. So he's deported, and where is he from? He has to go back to.
Well, Australia, I think.
Oh, he is from Australia. So
Yeah, he's from Australia. Yeah. Oh, I think so. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
Can you be deported from your own country? Where do you go?
That's why I thought they did, but that makes sense. Maybe they just won't let him in. I don't know. I didn't bother looking. I just wanted to bring up the meme so everybody could laugh.
We're
at
gonna
it.
get ripped up for that one. You don't know where he's from? Do your research.
Yeah, I don't even give a shit. Who cares?
I don't care.
I don't even care anymore. It doesn't, if people want to like boot people, I'm like fine with it. I can't care any longer. I just can't.
But Anthony, they're gonna boot you next.
I know. They're coming for me next. I get it.
You're a big threat.
I get it. I mean, I get it, but it's just, like I feel like people got their rules, and that's
Hey, don't lie about getting vaccinated. Don't be a giant jerk. That's all. End of story.
I can't kick this. I can't kick this COVID. By the way, I can't kick it.
So what day are you counting the days? What day are we on here?
Tuesday was the first day of real symptoms. Tuesday morning, I thought I was going to die.
Tuesday was your first full day of symptoms.
First full day when I woke up.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna fucking make it.
All right. So,
I don't know if I said this. I couldn't really say it too loud to people because then my wife would be crazy, and forget my mother would be nuts. But I woke up and my head was fucking spinning. It hurt so bad. I was in such a cloud, and then I started getting chest pains. I was like, this is gonna be fast. I'm like, this is going down fast. I'm like, this is not gonna happen. By the afternoon, the chest stuff was kind of gone, so I was less worried about that. But here we are, almost a week later, and I had 100.1 temperature today. Cannot fucking kick it, and the achiness and the fatigue and everything.
Are you taking anything like to bring the fever down and the achiness?
Yeah, well, you read the rules. They say you got to be without fever for 24 or I thought it was 24 hours. Somebody today told me 72 hours before you could like return to society. Let
me see. We said it the other day, but I can't find.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. But the thing is like I don't know. I just can't. And then it just like it goes up at random. Like even in the thick of it, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday was. We missed a show. You know me. I don't fucking miss these things. Yeah. I couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't fucking do it. Those 4 days were the worst. And I would be fine 1 minute and then all of a sudden feel awful the next minute and go, I don't know, let me take my temperature. And I take my temperature and it'd be 102. And I knew, like, because I would take my temperature after I wasn't feeling well and I'd be back down to 98.6 or 99, whatever. And be fine and be like, okay, I feel okay. And then get that feeling again and take my temperature 102. It's like unbelievable. Okay, here's the other weird thing. Go ahead. Yeah. You were gonna say. It
says on the CDC website, it says take necessary precaution. Like if you have symptoms, take precautions until day 10, meaning stay home, wear a mask around everybody else for 10 full days. Avoid travel, avoid being around people high risk.
Yeah, this 5-day bullshit that they did, that's the worst thing that they could have done.
Okay. Well, Let me see. Take precautions until
And let
day
me tell you
10.
why. Because 5 days after for me was what? Saturday?
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday was the 5th day. So Sunday, even today, like if I had a job to go to,
Hmm.
I would have, I couldn't do it.
Well, it's ending isolation if you had symptoms. End isolation after 5 full days if you are fever free for 24 hours without the use of fever reducing medication and your symptoms are improving.
See, now I'm feeling better. Like I feel considerably better. Like I said, there's a difference between Tuesday to Friday.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a difference between Friday and Saturday. Like
I
that, I
mean,
feel the difference. Like I
it
feel
also says
better.
if you were severely ill with COVID, you should isolate for at least 10 days. Consult your doctor before ending isolation.
Yeah,
Would you consider yourself as being severely
I
ill?
wasn't close to going to the hospital except for that first day, that first morning,
Right.
where I was like, "This, if this keeps up, this is." I said to myself, if this progresses, like if this is the beginning, I'm
Hmm.
fucked. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, Omicron, easy. There's everybody's saying this is mild and simple, but I
Who
don't
knows if
know.
you had Omicron?
Yeah, I don't think I did.
You could have got Delta.
Because I still fucking got it. Like I still like the aches. If I sit, because that's all I want to do is sit down and lay down. If I get up, it looks like like when your grandmother with arthritis when she was 90 fucking got up and took her 45 minutes to get. That's how I feel. I'm all fucked up.
Yeah. But you're
Okay,
better than day one.
way better than day one.
Right.
Here's the weird thing. I'm eating a bag of chips,
Hmm.
right? And I'm like, I can taste this. No big deal.
Right.
3 minutes later, by the way, God bless McDonald's for delivery. McDonald's delivers now. Did you know that? Like they deliver.
Well,
Like
they deliver. They have their own delivery, and not.
I
It's
think
not.
they use DoorDash and Uber, but you can go on to the McDonald's app and you could order directly from the app.
So, are you paying DoorDash and McDonald's now?
No, because I don't know what we paid, but it wasn't. It was like nothing. It was like 99 cents, or it was a nothing fee. And in fact, they don't tack on the billion fees that like Uber or Door. You get that like, oh, then it's $13, and then tip the driver $14. It's like holy shit, this is $40 and nothing.
Right.
You know, McDonald's, you go right to the app, which was key because my wife was knocked out, I was knocked out, and we had to feed the kids still. I mean, we only ordered McDonald's once, but still, like that night, it was like a godsend. We were like, can't do it. Can't even stand over the kitchen and heat up a mac and cheese.
Right.
We were like, let's just order McDonald's. So I was eating chips. Their McDonald's came, and my wife, ordered a couple of nuggets, extra nuggets. So she gave me a nugget. I put the nugget in my mouth. Like 3 minutes after I was eating the chips, Frank, could not taste the nugget.
That's weird, right?
Went from full taste to nothing, and then back again. Like it doesn't. There's zero consistency in any outside of the head cloudiness, the chest congestion, and the achiness. Zero consistency in any of the other symptoms. Zero.
Man.
And there was something else I ate the other day. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, this just doesn't taste right.
Hmm.
I could taste something. It just didn't taste like the food that it actually
Wow.
was,
That's strange.
which is strange. And my wife loves Diet Coke, and she said she cannot taste so it tastes like battery acid. She said,
Man.
she's like, I can't drink Diet Coke.
Is it back? Is your taste back?
Yeah. Today I had no taste issues today. But like I
That's good.
said, the
Comes and
nugget
goes. It's in
time,
and out.
yeah, a couple other times it was just in and out. So I'm
Man.
talking to my mother, who's panicking obviously throughout all of this because
Of
that's what
course.
my mother does. And she says to me, she goes, "If you don't feel good, what was this, Saturday or Sunday?" She goes, "If you don't feel good, you have to go to the hospital." And I said, "No, I'm feeling better. I'm not feeling great yet. I feel better than I did, but I just don't feel good still. Like I can't, like if I do something for a half hour, like I told you, did I say this on the show or before we started the show? Like there were times where I couldn't even start an hour episode of a show I was streaming because I was like, I can't
Yeah.
commit. I'm too tired. I can't commit to this."
You just gotta. Rest as much as you can, man.
That's all it is sleeping. I'll go down, I'll get up and then I'll be like, oh, I'm a little tired, and I'll sleep for 4 hours straight, and then get up again and feel okay for a half hour, and then could go down again for another 3-4 hours. That's basically what this has all been. So anyway, I'm talking to my mother, Frank, and she says to me, she says the most old Italian lady shit that an old Italian lady.
I'll send you some soup.
No, even big. She topped that mountain.
Okay.
She, outside of the Sopranos thing, this was the hardest I fucking laughed. She says to me, she goes, if you don't feel good, you should take yourself to the hospital. I said, no, I feel better. I just can't kick this. I can't do anything yet. I can't do normal, activities. She said, well, I'll tell you what. Cut up onions and put onions under your feet.
What?
What did you just say to me? She goes, yeah, no, onions under your feet will get rid of COVID.
What the hell is that?
So I literally laughed for 5 minutes straight. And I said, where did you hear this? I said, where did you come up with this? And in typical old lady fashion, an old Italian lady fashion, where do old Italian ladies get information from? Other old Italian ladies. She goes, I was talking.
That's insane.
I was talking to Angie, and Angie told me.
Oh, wait, whoa. You didn't tell me Angie said this.
Now, believe me, listen, I love my Aunt Angie. This is not a slight against her. My cousin Christine, this is what she told me, though. She said, she goes, I was talking to Angie, and Christine, who's Angie's daughter, had COVID, and she had it for 2 weeks, and she couldn't get rid of it. And she put onions under her feet and put socks on, and then she felt better. And I'm looking at my mother, because this was on FaceTime, and I go, boy, I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that it was after 2 weeks that it finally just broke.
That's like that old Simpsons thing. Like, you see this mug? This mug keeps away tigers. And you go, what? There's no tigers around, right? I don't see any tigers in this room.
I haven't had a tiger
it must be working. Yeah.
Since the mug came. Yeah. Onions under the feet.
Maybe she's onto something. No.
I said to her, I said, why haven't you called Fauci yet? He could use this help. He's getting killed by Rand Paul.
It was right in front of their faces the whole time.
Onions under the feet. Forget all the science and the studying and the vaccines. You should go to Nona and figure out what the
right. I mean, have they tried it? To be fair, they're in the lab with their science and their test tubes and the onions. Did anybody try onions? I told you guys.
Under the feet.
Did anybody try the onions?
How was that even discovered? Did somebody step on an onion and then instantly start to feel better from COVID? I don't even know.
I don't know. But I heard that like either onions or the only thing I knew about onions and feet or garlic and feet was the thing. Like if you rub garlic on on your foot, like you start to
you'll stink.
Your whole body, like it comes out of your pores or something.
No, that's
something? Is that an
old a slight against Italians that if you eat garlic, it just comes pouring out of your pores.
No, not that. It's like some weird thing with your feet. I don't know. I'm looking it up.
But you know my mother. I mean, said it to me with all as serious as anybody could. Like, listen, I was talking to Angie, and she let me in on the secret. Put onions on the bottom, and then put socks on to hold the onions into place.
Okay, so garlic, according to the interwebs.
Is this AuntAngie.com?
This is AuntAngie.com. Okay. If you rub garlic on your feet, it contains a molecule called allicin, ALLICIN, which has properties of both water and oil. It can permeate the skin in your feet, travel through your blood all the way to your mouth and nose, and you'll swear you can taste the garlic. And that the room has a strong
that I can kind of believe.
Yolk.
That's a pungent. The garlic's a pungent.
So I mean,
stings the nostrils.
Once you touch garlic, it's on your fingers for 3 days.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's insane. no matter how many times you wash your hands, shower, whatever. I cut up garlic for dinner, and dinner news. I actually used the smoked paprika
Well, this is breaking story. This is breaking news.
in a recipe that I cooked with it. I didn't just sprinkle it on like popcorn or something. I cooked with the smoked paprika. We made fajitas.
It only took you a year and a half to use that smoked paprika once.
I mean, I poured it on like I was putting out a fire with it, but I mean, I gotta use this before it goes bad. How long does it take for smoked paprika to go bad? I don't know, but it was good.
I know, but they tell you that spice rack, you should kind of flip it over every like 6 months or something. And I know people have had spices in there for 4.5 years.
Yeah, no, I don't have that. I don't even have a rack. I just have a like a window ledge in my kitchen that we put the spices on.
That was Did you put the smoked paprika in the sink thingy by any chance?
It's not in. It's pretty close to the sink thingy, but it's not in the sink thingy.
Okay, all right. Because the sink thingy is holding soap and other
soap and sponges and other accoutrements,
other soap items.
Right.
All right, so that's the latest. So if anybody is suffering through COVID out there, I'm no Joe Rogan, but my mom says that Angie told her that onions on the bottom of your feet will do the trick.
It's not Dr. Angie, by the way. It's just Aunt Angie.
And this is not a slight against Aunt Angie because I
love Aunt Angie. Are you kidding?
I mean, she is the best, but this is how Italian medicinal philosophy begins. It's just one person saying it to some other concerned mother. I said person. I should correct myself. It's one concerned mother saying it to another concerned mother, and they're worried to death over it because that's all they have to do is worry about their kids all day. And this is how people start walking around with onion feet.
Can you imagine? You're like, I don't know, somewhere, like you go to a neighbor comes over your house for dinner, and they have to take off. You have a rule in your house to take off your shoes. And you see like their socks are all bulgy and weird. You go, what's going on? Oh, it's just the onions in my socks that
just battle with COVID.
Yeah,
got the onion socks going.
Yeah, leave my house, please.
This is delicious, Kramer. I prepared it as I bathed.
Germs. Last night. I watched Kenny Rogers Roasters. That one.
Oh, great episode. Maybe one of the best.
One of my favorites. I couldn't stop laughing through that whole freaking thing.
When he orders the honey mustard.
Vile weed.
And he pounds on the desk.
That's such a good episode.
You know my friend Bob Sacramento? I thought that was Kramer's friend.
Well, he called last night about 3 a.m. We got to talking. He sells hats in the park. $50.
That's so good. So it also reminds me of that scene of Donnie Brasco when he's like, take off your shoes. He's like, I'm not taking off my shoes. It's like, why? You wearing a wire or you got onions on your feet?
Right.
This sick son of a bitch. Did you hear about this Pastor Mike Todd?
All I know is he spit on. I thought it was an old like viral TikTok video or some crap. I don't know what it was, so I just went by it. Well, what is it?
Yeah. So this. All right. We'll credit Jewish. Hold on. Jewish resistor. I don't know if that's supposed to
resistor.
Oh, maybe it's resistor. No, resist. Oh yeah, maybe.
How you spelling it?
I thought it was supposed to be register, but maybe it is the Jewish ginger resistor.
Resist. Okay.
You can do whatever you want on Twitter.
You're a gun, my friend.
You can pick whatever name you want. It doesn't really matter. But there's the pastor right there, and he's giving a sermon. Frankie, let me know if this is like too loud or whatever.
Guy on the left is the pastor.
The guy on the left is the pastor.
Okay.
It clearly yet, but you hit.
Oh God. No.
He spit in his hand.
And this is where
he's in the middle of a sermon. He just spits right in his hand. He's holding his hand. He's like holding the spit in his hand. And there's a guy next to him in a hat. Nice gentleman just sitting there. And he clearly called him up from the audience. And he's going to use him as an example.
Most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away.
Oh God, he spit again in his hand.
Spit again in his hand. And he's just holding spit in his hand.
Why is he doing this? Is there? Oh God.
He's giving you a message on Jesus, Frank. Pay attention.
Oh, okay.
What I'm telling you, is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming. God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty? I'm gonna say it in a point just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. You mean, God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
What is happening here?
I watched this thing 4 times and I still know what he's talking about. I'll tell you what's weird. There's a way about him where I can listen. I don't know if it's the timbre in his voice or what it is, but I can listen to this guy speak for hours.
Yeah, but if he was gonna hawk another one, I would have removed my headphones. I don't think I could listen to one more of those hawks.
And now you're gonna ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again?
Hoopty.
Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you,
Oh God.
it might get nasty.
He's smearing it in his hands.
Oh.
And he's putting it on the guy's face now like it's a fucking, look at this.
Why?
Look, you could,
And do you
God.
do you hear and see the responses of the people?
Oh my God.
yes, you just rubbed spit on
What I'm
somebody's
telling
face, you crazy bastard.
Oh God. For anybody listening and not watching, he put it all over the guy's face standing next to him, and it like dripped. Oh, I'm gonna throw
And
up.
there was a spit string hanging off his nose.
Oh. You gotta warn someone when you. Come on, man. Oh God, that was so nasty.
Are you going to puke? Are you going to vomit?
I'm not gonna vomit, but that was disgusting. That was insane. Why? And the guy just stood there and like,
Took it. Dude,
mean-
we're friends for a long time. If you spit in your hand while I was standing next to you and you're just holding it, there's one of 2 options. You're getting punched in the face or I'm walking away. That's it. Standing there and taking it is not one of the options.
no, I
Not.
If I'm the kind of person that would spit in my hand and rub it on your face, I feel like you'd know that I'm that type of person by now. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, I don't even know what this
It's
guy.
how you just reacted. It's how the people in your life will react when God is doing what it takes for the miracle. What are you saying? This man was blind, and what he was trying to do with this man is give him his DNA.
What?
I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck the guy's talking
What?
about. But he looks like he's got a packed house there. I don't know who follows these people. I really don't.
I can't. I mean, I'm baffled at why. I mean,
The only way that could have been worse is if he told the guy to put onions under his feet. That's the only way that would have been more embarrassing.
I'd prefer the onions, to be honest with you. That if he would have like handed me an onion and said, "Put this in your shoes,"
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been like, "Why?" Maybe, but I prefer that. The guy hawked in it.
Yeah. Now, when I first saw that, like, oh, the guy like spit in the guy's face, I wasn't picturing it to being that disgusting. Like, it's amazing that you could know how disgusting something's going to be. And then when you actually watch it, you're like, holy shit, he found a way to make it more
even-
disgusting.
Yeah, because it wasn't just tuh. It was like
He kept
it was
it in
back
his,
of the throat.
it was marinating. And it wasn't
All
even
right.
just spit.
Stop.
It was
Next
spit
up. Next
and like
subject.
palm sweat.
Yeah, no, we
just
got it.
marinating.
No,
together. Just-
now that
and then he pasted
No.
it on the guy like it was a fucking turkey.
What's the next subject, please? You roll on. Didn't help that I've been downing Hershey Kisses
No.
milk chocolate for the last hour.
We're gonna get those Hershey Kisses up. And the guy just stood there for 2
Was
minutes.
this an audience member or was this like someone with the guy?
I think so.
Does he do this? Like, does that guy go with him from town to town and get spit in his face?
I don't know. Look at this video. This woman just decked this pastor from behind. That's great.
Why?
I don't know.
He spit on her.
Doesn't matter. He deserved it. I don't care what happened. I don't care what the that is fucked up. Did you see that? All right, we got to get it.
No.
Oh, you're not looking at this. I just realized.
I'm like, what are you? No, what is this?
I just realized I took it off the screen. Oh, good, because I should be showing what I just showed.
Oh God, what happened?
Anyway, I'll put this back on so you can see this one. Look at this woman.
Oh, why did?
That's
What
a
is
macho
that?
man. Look at the way she looks. She's going at. She's going. Literally a macho man elbow
Oh
on this guy.
man,
I don't know what happened there. Who
I was
knew?
thinking, all right, he went down off the stage, maybe he's okay. But then all of a sudden, you see his feet come up. He is head first.
He took some hit from behind.
Why did she? Do we know why?
No, I have no idea why. I
Oh my
don't
God,
know.
that's terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, this guy's fucked up. That's eef.
I mean, he got our attention, but
Yeah.
that's not a. That's
No.
no. He would have.
No. Apparently, he does all kinds of crazy shit like that. I don't know.
I mean,
but
you want to get COVID? That's a good way to get COVID.
that is a good way to get COVID. DirecTV is saying that they are going to not enter into a new contract with OANN.
Oh, sucks to be them.
Yeah, the One American News Network. They're parting ways with the satellite television company. It was confirmed to CBS News on Friday.
Bye bye.
DirecTV. Here's what annoys me about DirecTV. I thought it was Direct TV. It's not.
one word. It's DirecTV.
It's Direct TV.
It's one word. It's
What do you
not
think?
Direct
Direct
TV.
TV. Yeah, it's
It's
weird.
DirecTV.
Yeah, I feel like there should be two T's in that.
Like when you go to like a mall and there's the directory,
Right.
you turn on your TV, you're turning on your DirecTV.
Yeah. We informed Harry Networks that following a routine internal review, we do not plan to enter into a new contract when our current agreement expires, a DirecTV spokesperson said in a statement. Spokesperson noted that the television company will continue to carry the network through their existing agreement. OANN will still be available on Verizon, Fios, and a few other small distributors. This is after the... Oh, by the way, to know this, YouTube suspended OANN's account for violating its coronavirus misinformation policy.
Good. Goodbye.
Yeah, I hate it though. Our videos have been taking a bit. Have you seen our videos have been taking a beating lately? 'Cause
Why?
We've been talking about coronavirus. We've been saying COVID and
So
getting shadow banned and demonetized, and the whole thing is all
we'll have
fucked
to
up.
talk about it. We're not spreading misinformation.
It doesn't see it that way. It's like, oh, this is here, like just shit on it.
See, that's not cool.
Again, I got a rash of people that were like, even like when we go live and the show starts, like I always get a notification. I haven't gotten a notification in like 2.5 weeks. Like it just doesn't show up on my own shit. I'm subscribed to my own channel and it does not fucking pop up when
I've noticed that a
we
couple
start.
times. Yeah.
And it would happen from time to time. I notice it too, and people write about it all the time. But I mean, I have not gotten a notification, and I don't even know how long. Anyway, this is after they were saying that AT&T is to blame for OANN because somebody over there was like, "Hey, we need like a right-wing channel," and so like supposedly AT&T, which is DirecTV, AT&T owns DirecTV. They got two T's there. So you know what I'm saying? They
lot of
could lend a
Ts.
T over.
It would just be at then. AT.
That's true. But they were basically keeping them afloat because who the fuck is paying for this shit? I mean, I know a lot of conservatives that don't watch that shit. Like they just can't wrap their heads around OANN,
Yeah,
or
it's
Newsmax or any of these other things.
some
These
bullshit.
places are so desperate for attention. It's not even funny.
I mean, if you want the worst news like station, then OANN is your place. If you want to,
Yeah.
if you want to hate everybody in the world, then go to OANN.
And this is not an anti-conservative thing. It's just that they're in last place, and the ones in last place have to be so desperate to make up ground, and they just don't have any sort of. They don't give a shit. Newsmax doesn't give a shit,
No.
and they
So,
certainly
I
don't.
don't know how they can call it news. I mean, it's just biased. I mean, it's all biased, but this is like extreme. It's extreme bias.
Right, exactly. And if CNN and Fox News have become such shit, the ones that are trailing them by 1 billion, they're going to be even worse. So that's kind of what's happening. I just found that interesting that AT&T is basically floating this network, keeping them alive, and they caught a bunch of flack for it when that story broke. And now all of a sudden they're like, you know what, fuck it, we're not. And here's the thing with that too. I guess people will jump on this and say cancel culture, but fact of the matter, when it comes down to it, is it's these decisions are business decisions. They're economic.
Yeah.
If you're not fucking pulling your weight, you're out.
And that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, they shouldn't have like laws to get rid of these things or anything like that. Fine. But then the same people are like, if you don't want these things to exist, then don't shop there. That kind of thing.
Right.
But when that is happening and people react and go, you shouldn't have this, that's the company's reaction to their customers saying, we don't want this anymore. That's the right process.
Yeah.
So
agree.
That's
Ann
consumer.
Coulter saying that Donald Trump is done. She hates Trump.
Yeah, she does. I never thought I would agree with Ann Coulter on anything, but she does not like him, and she calls him a phony and all this stuff, a fraud, all that.
Yeah, there was a rumor the other day, and this is kind of piggybacking off of that Trump called DeSantis dull. And I was like, where the fuck is this coming from? All of a sudden, he's taking these. We know he said the first thing that he should declare his vaccinations or his booster status.
Right.
We know he said that because he fucking said it in public. But then there was this huge story the other day about the fact that he said he was. I'm not buying that because they were like, oh, in private. I'm like, they're just making shit up again. That's just fucking made up.
Maybe.
But I think the world wants to see these two kind of go at it, and I think they will in a primary for sure.
Who?
Trump and DeSantis.
Oh, I thought you meant Ann Coulter. I was like, Ann Coulter's
no.
running for. Like, that's weird.
Nobody really gives a shit about Ann Coulter anymore.
I mean,
but it's amazing. Like people hate. Like Ann Coulter was the scum of the fucking Democratic Party. Like they hated her, and now they're like, who's making some good points these days? That
Conservative Party, you mean?
Well, the Democrats thought she was a scumbag.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's a lot of racist talking points and everything, but she's still popular on the conservative front, and then she says something anti-conservative like that.
Yeah.
It makes a wave.
I can't help it though. I'm attracted to when people turn on their own parties. I'm attracted to that story because I feel like it's honest. Because I can't stand it when people just fall into rank and file when you know that those people specifically disagree with a particular issue, and they're just like, oh,
exactly.
They're up there giving the talking points on Fox or CNN, and they're just going to the that drives me crazy. You're just wasting everybody's fucking time.
Yeah, I agree.
Wasting everybody's time. I should have teased this more. Celebrity birthdays up at the top. We have Betty White's last, or one of her last photos. Yeah.
Just a few days before she died, right?
Yeah, let me bring that up for you. Here's the other amazing thing. It's obviously MLK Day, Betty White's birthday. It's James Earl Jones's birthday, which
91,
is epic. And fucking Jim Carrey.
60 for Jim Carrey.
He does not look 60.
60 years old. Can you imagine? Ace Ventura is 60 years old.
Yeah, that's fucked up. But what's amazing is like people have been making a big deal too since Betty White died about the Golden Girls.
Sure.
And there's that meme going around that's saying like the Golden Girls were the same age as the Sex and the City girls. And you look at the Sex and the City girls and they look phenomenal. And you look at the Golden Girls and they just look like old ladies. Like I don't know what happened, but everybody did really get younger.
Well, I think the Golden Girls, for the most part, didn't dye their hair. They didn't, go through all these surgeries and things. I'm not saying that people.
That's hurtful. You're gonna have to apologize to the Sex and the City people. That's.
Tell me they didn't get work done. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But
I think most of it, honestly, why they look so young, Frank, onions under the feet.
That's probably what it is. Also, I mean, what's it called? I'm watching the Golden Girls. I love it. Did you know? I mean, this is maybe a popular thing. I think everybody kind of knew this, but Estelle Getty played Dorothy's mom on the Golden Girls, the mother, the little old lady.
Yeah.
Sophia was 1 year younger than Dorothy and Rose.
Yeah.
A year younger, and she played her mother.
I think I knew that because I think you told me the other day.
I tell you at least once a week.
I only know that because of you, but yeah.
It's my Monday morning text to you every Monday. Did you know?
Yeah, no, that's fucked up. But they look old. They look like old ladies, and you look at the Sex
Yeah.
City girls, and they look. I don't know. They look amazing. So Jim Carrey looks amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in Golden Girls. They're only in their 50s. They're supposed to be.
Supposed to
50s.
be, and you look at people in their 50s now.
Yeah, everybody looks younger. You know, it's again, we're all. There was a thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson said, which I thought was very weird and mind-boggling. He said he goes, "There's a theory that the person who is the first person to be able to live forever has already been born."
Hang on. Say that again.
There's a theory, he said, that the first person to be able to live forever
Has already been
has
born.
already been born.
That's a crazy good theory.
And he goes, and they're like, well, how? How is that possible? How could someone live forever? He goes, well, with the technology that we're developing and the, life expectancy age, like, let's say life expectancy for this person who's already born, let's say he was going to live to 100, he or she. By the time he gets to close to 100, we'll have created such medicine and such technology that he'll be able to go to 150. And by the time he gets to 150, we'll have created and advanced so much that he'll be able to go to 300, and et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There was a movie my father told me about. I don't know what it is, but that was the premise of the movie, that they found a way to keep people from dying. But then we ran into so many other problems of, i.e., overpopulate. Like you have nowhere to put people after a while.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's a problem. People have to
start
die.
Jumping to different planets and shit.
Yeah. Anyway, here's Jim Carrey. This was his text today. Look, he looks like, okay, there's a couple more lines on that face than there used to be, but he looks amazing.
Yeah, and he's putting the old man face on, but
right.
He's always had lots of, character obviously in his face. So you're gonna see he's not wearing, it's not like he has makeup on or anything.
Yeah, no, like his lines are going to be worked out a little bit more than other people's lines.
Right.
And here's Betty. This is the last picture. Her assistant put this picture up today.
Yeah, that's the list. And for 99, holy
not
cow,
bad.
She looks great.
Yeah, not bad, man.
She looked great. Yeah.
She did look really, really good. So.
Always hilarious.
Yeah. The best.
She was one in a million. She was great.
I was gonna say we should talk about what's the best Jim Carrey movie, but we don't have time. We got other topics to get through. Put it on the shelf for another
Ace
day.
Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. I like Dumb and Dumber.
Remember we talked about this the other day, like that. Those were all in the same year.
It's a lot. He did like 3 movies in 1 year. The Mask, I think, was also that year.
Ace Ventura, The Mask, and would Dumber and Dumber be the third one?
I think so.
Might have been.
Yeah.
We gotta have to debate best Jim Carrey movie one day. Anyway, R.I.P. Betty
Yes.
White.
And happy birthday, Jim Carrey and James Earl Jones.
And James Earl Jones, 100%. Okay, real or fake fact on TikTok. This came from TikTok. Let me give credit. I'm not gonna play the video for you, but I'll give credit where credit is due. This came from Derek Zane, 1981. And he says that all recorded history only covers 2% of humans' existence. Meaning that humans have been around for so long, but the amount of time that we started writing stuff down and actually recording stuff.
That sounds right.
Is only 2%.
Here's the thing. Do you count like cave drawings?
Yeah.
Counting that.
That's part of recorded history. When they started drawing on the
walls.
On the walls, you were documenting what was going on. Now I don't know if obviously even just a drawing of fire means they figured out fire at this time because they could see it and they could write it down.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a novel that they draw a picture of something that they saw.
Yeah,
that's what it is. 2%.
2%. Now, doesn't that make you think what the hell was going on? All that other what have we missed and what do we not know about?
Well, I think it's what we've missed and not known about. It's probably not as much as you would. I think
I
it's
think
just
it's
simple
more.
existence.
I think it's more.
Really, you think it's
Yeah.
not just? I mean, I don't think it's anything more complicated than humans just being around and existing. It's not like we had, I feel like if there was anything major like government and all these kind of civil, we would have recorded it in some. We would have had the ability to record it. And I
Maybe
think it
we'll
was just
find
humans
something.
in human form, just not as advanced, I
Maybe
guess.
we'll find something. And I also think that they were writing it down or were recording it, and either we haven't found it or it was from so long ago that it just
Didn't stand the
deteriorated.
test of
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I mean, when we have to nail down when language developed.
Because think about this, Frank. When something happens right now, what's the first? If you're out and there's a big commotion, what's the first thing that you do?
Well, what kind of commotion?
Just a regular, like somebody starts screaming or somebody starts fighting. What's the first thing people do?
Well, people take out their phone and record it.
Yeah, we have this inert thing. Like journals are the dumbest thing. Like dumbest thing. Like people love like there's
Journals
this
are
thing
fine.
that
What's wrong with journals?
I'm just saying it's like, oh, let me write down my feelings and things. It's kind of fucking stupid, but we all do it.
You're an ass.
People do it all the time.
It's
I'm
not
saying
stupid.
it's stupid. It's one of the
Anybody who
dumb.
keeps journals out there, it's a fine thing to do.
I'm not making fun of you. I think it's totally normal, but it's fucking stupid. Like all the other stupid
Well,
shit we
you're
do.
stupid.
I mean, it's pretty stupid. Like wearing a football jersey to a football game. Like, hey, go
Why?
team. Stupid.
Why is that stupid?
I wear hockey jerseys to hockey games. It's stupid. I could admit
That's not
that.
stupid.
It's a stupid thing to do.
You're supporting your team. You're rooting for your team. If you're on let's say it's the Ranger game, or the Islander game, you're an Islander. You're skating
Yeah.
around. You look up, you see the whole crowd wearing Islander jerseys. That's gonna boost your morale and give your team a little. It's not stupid.
Yeah, we do a lot of stupid things.
I'm not doubting that. We definitely do a lot of stupid things, but I don't think writing in journals and wearing jerseys is stupid.
A number one stupid thing that we do. This is one of my favorite. This is classic Anthony bit. If you're out and somebody says, "I think it's raining,"
You stick your hand out.
you go like that. It doesn't get more stupid than this.
Hey,
That's
sometimes
a-
your
That's a
top of your
stupid
head is not as sensitive because of
Incorrect.
your hair than your hand. I guess.
Everybody goes, like they kind of like, let me put the rain antenna out.
This is my rain detector.
This is the stupidest thing
It's
ever.
a foolproof rain detector. We come with it built in.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of things that we do that are kind of stupid, and I'm not picking on journaling people. It's fine if you journal. I think it's great.
Journals are
But
wonderful.
it's one of those things that we can't really explain why we do it, and we do it, and we find it helpful. You know what I mean? Like it actually can be healing, and there's you could go up and down the many things of why.
So why is it stupid?
I mean, it's just it's kind of like I don't know. It's just kind of silly a little.
It's not silly. You're silly.
I think. Well, let's go back. Let's not lose the original point, which is I think we've always had that as people. So I think there were people that were doing that, or at least trying to do it, and whatever disintegrated.
Well, were we
decomposed
advanced enough
to
before
preserve it.
No. Before cave drawings and all that stuff. Right before that, what? I mean, there was no language probably. If there was, I feel like if we were advanced enough to have a language and understand each other when we made noises, we would have been. I don't know. Maybe we weren't advanced enough to be able to record it in some way. Because
Well, I think you would have caught a couple of those years beforehand. Is that what you're saying? Because I think people would have passed along stories and things.
pass along stories is one thing. That's not recorded history.
But I think like as far as like what like was said, like when you think about the amount of stuff that's just left behind. All right, let me tell you about my new like YouTube obsession. I found this guy and he just does walking tours of New York City. So he just goes like, I want to get this guy on the podcast because I'm just so obsessed with his channel. He'll just be like, we're going to go to we're doing Chelsea today. And he just walks around Chelsea and he goes, oh, he just walks by these buildings and he points them out and explains the historical value of these buildings. So he was doing a live stream I was watching and somebody asked him, because the Dutch settled New York City first. They're basically the ones who kind of started the whole party here in New York. And they were like, "Well, is there anything from?" Because he kind of always he makes a lot of the same points over and over again because it's just the nature of the beast. It's what it is.
Mhm.
And somebody was like, "Why don't you talk more or show more of like what the Dutch thing was?" And he's like, "We don't have anything." And that like messed me up because I was like, we don't like, there's no cameras, photographs. You didn't have that. You didn't have people drawing it, writing it. Like they like now there was recorded history at that time, but nobody like stopped and was like, here's a map and here's where the brook ends and here's where the bridge over the brook is and here's where we go for the
I think that exists. That's just not on the
practically.
streets.
He
I'm
said
sure there's
practically
maps.
nothing. He said honestly, the one weird thing that survived from the original Dutch settlements was the names of the streets, which is why
Well,
you have like
that
Stone
counts.
Street and yeah. But that's not like there's no physical like we can't see what Manhattan was like when the Dutch were living here because
Yeah, of
nobody
course
fucking
you
wrote it
can.
down.
No, not that. No, people have recorded the history of it. We know that it happened because of history. It's not
Well,
like
yeah, but
anybody
that's
nowadays was alive back then, so we know about it because of recorded history. But of course, as the city developed and advanced and more buildings were built, stuff gets knocked down and newer stuff gets put up. That's different from Neanderthals and cavemen. Plus there were fewer. Like right now, there's almost 7 billion people in the world. Thousands and thousands of years ago, there were not a lot of people. It was
yeah.
fewer.
There was this other thing that was like I forget what year they discovered like the first dinosaur bone, but it was way too recent for
Yeah,
any.
nobody was digging. Nobody was
Yeah,
worried about any of that.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird how much recent history there is that we just base a lot of stuff on.
Yeah,
And it's
there's a
kind of like
lot.
there's all this other time that we just have no idea what happened. None.
Well, it's not none.
A
It's
lot
just
of it
that.
is assumption.
Well,
And
yeah, but there's a lot of like in recent history, if you want. There's because of people that were in charge, and there's a lot of stuff gets repressed. But in the last couple hundred years, more and more stuff has happened that can be recorded. But like, yeah, things like in the last like from 10,000 AD to like, you know, I mean 1000 AD to like 12 or 13, 1400. A lot of shit was like under wraps. Like they didn't really spread.
yeah,
There's a lot of history being kind of.
which is odd because if you look at the rate of documentation that is happening now,
Yeah,
it,
everything.
it's insane.
Of course, and that's natural as we develop more ways to document. It's just
But
gonna be
this
what it
doesn't
is.
weird you out. Like, think about all the things that happen that you just, there's no way of absolutely knowing.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, because then you go, oh, look how many lives. All the billions of people who came before us all had their own lives and did their own thing, and yeah, there's no way for us to know what they did, except for the really really significant things like
But doesn't that
this.
feel a little matrixy to you too, where it's like, who knows how advanced? Like we've found some civilizations and learned some stuff, and now we all kind of know. Oh, okay, this was the I forget what the lost civilization was, and it got covered and they found it, and they were like, oh, okay, they had
Like
huts
the
and they
Mayans and the.
yeah, like oh, okay, they lived, or there was, or the Mayans, they had a calendar, they figured out a calendar, like okay, cool, but like all that shit prior to that. Like, I don't
Well,
know. It's
I feel like if they were advanced enough to come up with all these kinds of crazy things like a count, like they would be able to record it. I feel like the first thing, like recording it is part of the process. Like if they made the wheel, there'd be record of the wheel. I'm not talking about something written down. I'm talking about the actual wheel would be somewhere found, or it would be something would like if they are advanced enough to make the wheel and
mm-hmm.
fire, then they should be advanced enough probably to have other traits that would help them, like draw on the rocks, or tell a story, keep it going, So I don't think a lot was happening caveman wise. I think little steps were being taken, and then there are giant leaps that get taken once they learn how to build better. Then giant leaps are, there's a lot of crawling, and I feel like in human history, and then all of a sudden we start running. Then there's a little more crawling. Then we start running because we discovered something new. But within the last 150 years or so, we're always running because the computer chip,
Yeah.
all this stuff that came out. We're in the middle of a running period, I think.
But we know it's funny because we know that humans were in existence at
Thousands of
certain
years.
time, right? We know that.
Yeah, I
But
don't know what the actual. Let me see. I want to see
but
what the oldest person.
90, so basically 98% of humans' existence, we have no idea what it is. We had no idea because it just wasn't recorded. It wasn't written down, captured, put in a cave drawing,
Millions.
painting, picture.
3.2 million year old partial skeleton of Lucy was the oldest fossil. Wait a minute. Until now, the oldest fossil skeleton of a human ancestor was 3.2 million years. But ARDI, displaces Lucy as the oldest hominid skeleton. I'm trying to figure out how old that one is. 4.4 million years old. Lucy was only 1.2 million. So 4.4 million years old is the oldest hominid, humanoid, I guess our
So-
stage of development.
Millions of years of existence.
Millions of years.
We just don't know. We don't know.
I feel like 2% is high.
Yeah. I mean,
how
happened?
much
Like,
of recorded history? A couple thousand years, a few thousand years of recorded history, but
yeah.
we're talking 4.4 million years of human history.
How far did they advance? What happened that they got wiped out or didn't make it? Plague, dinosaur,
Did they?
crater, rocket.
Well, not dinosaur, but yeah.
Well, this
How
guy
advanced
also-
was their technology? I mean, were they
Right.
using tools? Was they using this and that?
This guy also.
Yeah.
Hold on. This guy, I'm just covers 2%. Okay, hold on.
I mean, if we're talking cave drawings, maybe 2% is right.
But there was more. There was people before Neanderthals. Is what he's saying. That were living.
Well, was it people or was it the stage of evolution before us?
No, there were people. They
It
were
was
human.
human.
Yes, out of the evolution, human being before Neanderthal. And he also wait, hold on. A ground swath. Did you even know a ground swath existed?
I know ground existed and I know swaths exist, but I never put them together.
This thing is like bigger than an elephant. Like just picture a huge.
Oh, sloth? SLOTH?
I think he's saying swath.
Because I know of a sloth, like that's pretty big.
I don't know, but
I think it's sloth, and that I knew about.
I don't know, but anyway, like I tried to tell my kid that the other day. He's like, he was talking to me about dinosaurs, and I'm like, up until a certain point, we didn't even know dinosaurs existed. We just didn't. We never found a bone.
Yeah.
What else is out there like that? And then when you hear 98% of human existence wasn't recorded, you're like, holy shit! Like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I think it wasn't recorded, meaning 98. Does that mean that 98% of human existence wasn't really not exciting, but like extraordinary?
I don't know.
Was 98% of human existence just us, hunting our food and living in caves?
Doesn't it weird you out that you look at 1 year,
Mhm.
now you know that this Artie was around 4 million years ago. So that
long ass time.
That's a long ass time with a lot of people that we just know nothing about.
But hey, the fossil remained, so there should be, the fact that they didn't have.
We know they existed. We just don't know
existed, but
what they did.
What they did, which I can't imagine is a lot, because if they were in any kind of advancement, tools or things like that, they would have somehow documented not in a language maybe, but in a, you draw a square or a tree, just to copy, you draw on a rock, you draw like anything, a sun, I'm sure that I can't imagine that the what was his name? Artie?
Mm-hmm.
Humans were as developed, you know what I mean? Mentally.
I don't know. A lot to think about. I'd love to hear people's theories in the comments. We got to move on to the next topic, Frank. I'm fading fast here.
Let's go.
And I don't want to miss the 2 vagina girl topic. That's a big one. Okay. Product testing that we're going to do Friday on the episode. This guy just poured himself a glass of pickle juice.
Now, what kind of pickle juice? There's a lot of different kinds. So I got to see which one that is.
All right, I'll go back to the beginning. Hold on, let me refresh here.
Because if we're going to do this, does he say what kind?
He doesn't say, but it looks like it's pickle slices.
Okay.
It just says pickle juice.
Because if it's bread and butter, I can't do that. I'm not a big bread and butter pickle fan.
I think any one of your choosing. He dunks an Oreo cookie into pickle juice, eats it, and says it's good. Now, this is this particular guy. I don't know what this guy's name is, but One Big Pike is the guy. Now, Party Shirt, these guys, what they do is they fact check internet stuff. So they're going to come on the screen in a second. You'll see them. Here's the 2 guys. They tried it themselves, and they said it was good.
Okay, so all right, so there's the. Oh, he lost his.
Yeah, he had to start over again.
All right, way to go.
I think these guys are in Australia where they don't have COVID, so they're a little, they're behind.
He's really getting it in there.
Yeah, he really jammed it in there.
You don't have to like. Okay.
And they say it's pretty good.
Okay.
So we're going to try that Friday on this show. That's going to be Friday's product testing. We're plugging it in advance because if you want to try it along with us.
Yeah, get your Oreos and pickle juice going.
Get it ready. Don't have it before.
No, we want to try it at the same time.
Try it all at the same time. We'll do that on Friday's episode.
That'll be fun.
Do you find that this is weird. Sometimes I'll dunk. Each individual batch of Oreos has their own dunking timing.
No, you're nuts.
I don't think I am. Sometimes I'll dunk an Oreo, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a sloshy mess.
I know what you said. I think it has to do with the age of the package of Oreos.
I don't think it does.
Okay, then I don't know what to tell you.
Because I'll open up like a fresh pack sometimes, and it'll take way longer to soak through that cookie than it does at other times. And I don't think it has anything to do. I mean, maybe how long it's been sitting on the shelf for, but not in my house.
Well, let's consider the factors. You got the age of the Oreo, the freshness of the Oreo. Then you got what kind of milk are you using?
I always use almond
always
milk.
the same. Always almond milk.
Always.
Okay. At what cookie, like what number of cookie? Like, does the consistency of the milk change from cookie 1 to cookie 5?
No, I think it's within the bag. I think it changes from bag to bag, not inside the bag. Once I know what batch I'm dealing with, how fast it is to get to that consistency that I want it to be at, then we're good. But figuring that out sometimes, because sometimes I'll soak it for like 2 minutes, pull it out,
insane. No,
and it's still hard as shit.
No, I can't. I don't believe that. I think maximum soakage. If you're holding it with your fingers,
no.
And with the fork, you're doing it with the fork.
I don't do it with the fork. I do it with a spoon. Yeah, that's the other thing. These people they put the fork into the cream.
Into the cream. Yeah,
that's
that's a hack.
Yeah, I don't care. That's bullshit. I
use my fingers. I hold the cookie. I think maximum soakability. You go beyond 10 seconds, you're asking for that thing to break off. I think even 8 seconds. Don't hold it under completely for 8 seconds.
Sometimes
you go beyond 8, you're gonna hold 2 little crumbs in your fingers, and you got the rest of the cookie at the bottom of your glass.
Sometimes I'm telling you, it takes longer. It really does. Now
maybe by a second.
No. I'm talking a good 30 to 45 seconds.
No, you're out of your mind. You go. There's no way. There's no way you're dunking a cookie for 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Without it coming apart.
No, it's happened. It's happened.
I don't believe it.
It's happened.
30 seconds is a long dunk.
I can't wait to read the comments on this. because it's happened where like I'll put it and I'll be like, this must be one of those batches where I'm gonna have to do a minute and a half on every cookie just to make some
Minute and a
damage.
half.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. You're in some kind of weird COVID nightmare
No.
that your time does not exist to you anymore,
No.
and you're just in a weird
I've
like.
I have noticed this over time, like the last 2 years or so, and just never really talked about it.
I mean, maybe almond milk is just not as because regular milk. I more than 8 seconds, you're dealing with mush.
No, and here's the thing: ice cold milk, because I think ice cold, the colder it is, the more it penetrates, the faster it penetrates.
I think if that has anything to do with it, it's maybe affects it by a second or two. I don't think you're talking about 30 to a minute and a half. There's no way you're dunking your cookie for 30 seconds and coming up with a whole cookie. There's no way.
I don't think we can trust you and your savagery because you put your fingers in the milk. Okay, that's
First
miserable.
of all, this is my own milk that I'm drinking.
No, that's
And
A.
that's how you
disgusting.
dunk a cookie. I
B.
don't put my fingers in milk. I put the cookie in the milk.
Yeah, but you put your fingers in. You said you put your fingers.
Sometimes a little bit.
Okay,
But
and then also a cold milk, that's uncomfortable for the fingertips. That's
You're
why I went to the
uncomfortable.
spoon.
You're uncomfortable for this conversation. There's no way you're dunking a cookie unless, all right, you have it in a spoon, you dunk it, you're coming up with a pile of mush in your spoon. You might have all the cookie in there, but it's not going to look like the cookie you started with.
Did you see this jackass? I saw him I wasn't following him on TikTok, but I saw him a couple times. He invented this thing. It's basically this piece of plastic, and it has notches cut out. And you put the Oreo in the notch, and you could put like 4 cookies, and he would dunk the whole thing in. He went through several iterations just to get to this point. I can't even tell you.
So, and then what? You pull it out, and what? You have to open it up. And how do you eat the cookie?
You just
without
pull
it
it
being
off
mush?
the thing. Yeah, it gets a little mushy. So, or he would just eat it. He would just eat it right off the thing.
That seems like an unnecessary mess to me.
And then I think at one point at the top, so the top he made it like a handle so you can grab it, and also so it would sit on the top of the glass, so you could leave it like it was hooked on the other side. And then I think at one point he put a straw down the middle of the plastic thing so you could take sips of milk too.
Hey, listen, the guy's inventive, and I applaud that.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot anybody's inventions down. You know what? He came up with something he likes. Good for him.
Can I tell you what I do? What I
What do you
love?
do? What?
This is my cookie dunking method.
Mm.
When your old pal Ant fucking go when it's Friday night and the show's
First of all,
over.
you're starting with almond milk, so I can't
Well,
take
I'm
your word
lactose.
on this.
It's a
No,
bit-
you're not. So
the
move
cream
on.
is enough to handle.
You're not lactose intolerant, so move on.
I can't add milk on top of it. Anyway, when I'm like, this sleeve is not surviving the evening. Like it's going down when I'm, this is my method and I love it. I go 2 cookies at a time. I put
That's
2 cookies.
Madness.
No, I put 2 cookies in.
We're talking Oreos?
2 Oreos.
Okay.
Put 2 Oreos in because I have this thing where I like mushy. I like a little sog, but I also like that crunch at the same time. I need to have that textural difference. It's like with a chocolate chip cookie. I will dunk a chocolate chip cookie in, but I'll bite more than my dunk line because I want to get a little crunch mixed in with the softer cookie.
If I'm dunking, I'm going all the way. I need 100% saturation.
So let me explain my method. So I'll put 2 Oreos in at the same time, and here's why. I put them in sideways. They will float right side up. Okay? I'll let that sit for a couple of seconds, and I will immediately flip both of them over. So now the first cookie that was all the way on the bottom, getting the maximum amount of soakage, is now up on top and is sitting on top of the other Oreo and is not exposed.
If you put this kind of thought into your everyday life, you know how far along you'd be professionally? I mean, I think you're way overthinking this Oreo dunking experience.
This took me years to develop this Oreo dunking method.
You know what I do? I take the cookie, I dunk it in the milk, and then I eat it. And I get 100% satisfaction out of that. I can't tell you how enjoyable.
No, but
that
you got your cold fingers in there. It's
My
not
fingers are
good.
fine. My fingers are good to go.
So in 2 Oreos, you have 4 cookies.
I could see dunking 2 Oreos and that those middle 2 cookies maybe taking a little more time to absorb the milk because they're not getting as much surface area as the outer cookies. So that might be good.
Well, the top
But
cookie.
why are you flipping?
Well, because I get a little flip. I put a little flip into it because I want that first one to get a little splash in the bath.
How are you flipping with both of them staying together?
They do. They stay together. If you tip it, if you like tip it, like you push your spoon in on one side.
So you got one
thing will
cookie on
flip.
top like Rose on the door, and then you pretty much do the jack move and you just dunk them right in. You just get Rose goes for the
Right.
dive.
If you think of it exactly, if out of the 4 wafers in the 2 Oreos, the top one never really touches milk for longer than like 5 seconds, whereas the other 3 are getting soaked. And so when you go to bite it, there is that little bit of crunch in with the sogginess of the other Oreos.
All right,
So good.
I think you're nuts, but
So good. It's good. I mean, think about people that do a half dunk. There are people like my chocolate chip cookie. They'll do a half an Oreo dunk. They won't put their fingers in the cold milk, and they're eating it. They're still getting a crunchiness to this with the.
See what I do? I do the half dunk. I bite that half that's dunked. Then I turn it so that the half moon shape. I got the pointy part of it, and I dunk that, and then I eat the whole thing.
So there's one full dunk and one no dunk.
No. I do a full dunk.
I know I was doing the tuck thing.
I know.
Seinfeld.
I do a full dunk and then a quarter dunk.
So you're doing what I'm doing. I just came up with a better way to do it.
No. I got one cookie. I dunk it halfway.
Yeah.
I eat the half dunked part.
Yeah.
Then I turn the cookie so I'm holding the pointy part like the half circle. It's like a half circle now.
Yeah.
So I'm holding the point of one point of the half circle. The other point goes in the milk.
It's a 3/4 dunk.
It's a half dunk with it's a 3/4 of the cookie ends up being dunked when all said and done.
Yeah. You don't go with a spoon because you get the whole thing in there. You just
spoon. It's not
toss
cereal.
it right in.
It's Dunkin' cookies. I like to get the full experience of and then I got the chocolate on my finger. It's a wonderful thing.
Okay. There's a girl with 2 vaginas. Now this
Speaking
is
of wonderful things.
So Frank came up with this story. Now, do you remember in Bad Boys when Martin Lawrence drives the car really good and Will Smith gets out of the car and screams at him? He's like, "That's how you drive. From now on, that's how I felt when you sent me this thing." I was like, "This is how you pick a topic."
This is the topics that we're looking for.
From now on, these caliber of topics. But 2 vagina topics don't come along every single day.
This is not something, I didn't even go. It was just on my news feed on Facebook.
I'm glad you said news feed and not porn feed, but go ahead.
Not yet, anyway. But there it was, and I was like, all right, I got to see what this is about. A woman in her 30s. I got to look it up, but let me open it up here. She uses, how old she is. Age of 20. She didn't find out about it until she was 20, like that it was weird.
This goes back to our civilization conversation. Imagine living your life for 20 years. You didn't have you had another vagina?
Yeah, so she has 2 vaginas and 2 fully operational and functional wombs. Uterus, the works.
I thought you were going to say she has 2 assholes.
I
know a guy who ate like he had 2 assholes.
That is unconfirmed. She is 31 now. She lives in Australia. And she works in the sex industry. She says she uses one vagina for work and the other for not work. Personal use.
Personal use. Well, yeah. To be fair, to hoard both vaginas for your own personal use seems a bit selfish.
She is also apparently, I don't know if she's still there, but she is on OnlyFans for those interested in checking that out.
This might be the first time we have to pay for an OnlyFans. I might have to see this.
She makes $75,000 a month, which I feel is low for what she's offering.
Way low, and she doesn't jar any farts. Is that what you're telling me right now?
As far as I understand, she has two fully functioning. She does have a child. She gave birth to a child, but theoretically, she said she can carry two babies at the same time, two fetuses at the same time in two separate wombs if she wanted to, but she's not interested in doing that.
I'd like to get her into a video with one of those two penis guys and see what happens.
Man, that's got to be something. Two penises. I don't know why.
The universe might blow up.
And she said one vagina she prefers one over the other when it comes to intercourse. She says they both have different feels.
Wow. I wonder which one is that, the personal one or the work one?
I don't know.
This is amazing.
I don't know.
How did she get two vaginas?
She was born with that way. That's it. Having two vaginas has made my sex life a lot of fun. We could have sex in one side and use a toy in another. All sorts of positions they could try. Blah 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 blah.
That thought never even occurred to me.
She feels very different. Each one feels different. She said that she wouldn't, because there's not a lot of room, so she wouldn't want to carry a child in both wombs at the same time, because it's risky, because there's not a lot of room. Yeah.
There's women who give birth to like 6 babies at once. This woman could have 12 babies at the same time.
That would be interesting.
Let me tell you something. When the world starts to go down, if we got to get this one into one of those escape pods, because we can rebuild it back up again really quick wherever we wind up.
Right? Can I show a picture of her or no?
I don't think so. Okay. No, unless you have an Instagram photo that she put up herself.
I don't think I do.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of photo credits here. So
yeah, I'm not going to do that then. Yeah, she had a baby. She has a son. But yeah, she's living comfortably and fully functioning of vaginas.
Oh, she gets both of them tested for STDs. That's amazing.
When she has her time of the month, she has to take care of both at the same time. So she has her time of the month out of both.
Oh, that's miserable. I didn't think of that. There's the downside. Okay.
There's that downside
to
deal with.
Poor girl. One is a pain in the ass enough.
I can't imagine how that would, affect her. But I don't know if there's any difference hormonally, with that, with two fully functioning. I'm not talking about the time of the month. I mean, in general.
Yeah.
Like how that affects your chemistry.
I don't know.
Good for her. She's owning it.
I think I might pay for this OnlyFans. I gotta see that.
Yeah, and you know what? This is one person. I wonder how, like, if this happens more often than we think.
It could have been in the 98% of society we've never recorded. They could have been just walking around two vagina people all over the place.
Everywhere.
She could be an ancestor of the two vagina civilization.
Right?
Yeah.
And then how did they eradicate? How did they go away?
What happened? I don't know. People got jealous and started killing them. That's what I think.
Right? Walking around. I only got one. What do you show off?
You must be the freak then. They're burning the poor two vagina people.
Man. Good for her though. She's loving it. She loves having two. She didn't know it was weird until, obviously later on in life. I think she said she was 20 when she figured it out. Like,
yeah. That's so great.
That it was different. Maybe not weird, but different.
That's what's so great about growing up. He's like, oh, is this a weird thing? Like, like this is normal to me.
This was normal to me. I've been living like this my whole life. I thought this was how everybody operated.
Yeah.
Okay, so hey, more power to her.
All right, topic of the year so far. I mean, we're only 17 days in, but this is going to be in contention when we get down to December. I'm telling you.
This is gonna make the highlight reel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, two vagina girl. How could you not?
Yeah, and she's making a good living.
I'm gonna ask a serious question now. Do you think?
I'm sure it won't be serious, but go ahead.
Do you think she's technically got more body parts to cover? Do you think her insurance is higher? It feels like she should be paying a little bit of a higher premium.
You thought that was a serious question? I don't think she's required to disclose how many sets of
But
genitalia she
if
has.
you want them both covered, you got to kind of.
I think you buy a general coverage. It's gonna cover everything.
I could see an insurance company being like, "You denied. We cover a vagina. Now you're telling me there's two here."
I don't think there's anything written in a clause that says you must only have one set of genitals.
I think there's a scumbag insurance agent that's like, "I know a way to get out of this."
Because there's people. There are people, we've heard of people born with both sets. This just happens to be two of the same one. So I guess in any other situation, she would be. I think the word is hermaphrodite. Is someone born with two sets?
Yeah.
Of one of each. So this is just someone.
You know what, Frank? I say his hermaphrodite sometimes because I like to be fair to everybody.
So how? Okay, good for you. All right, but this is interesting.
It doesn't always have to be her. Sometimes it's a his hermaphrodite. You know what I'm saying? We're equal. We're fair here.
That you sure? We are.
I don't know. These are COVID fever. I feel like I'm spiking right now. I feel like I gotta take my temperature. It's been 2 hours. Go ahead.
What I'm wondering is just how it's set up.
Is it side by side,
or left and right, or front and back, or both in general same area?
Wouldn't it be great if she had one on under her left arm?
Well, yeah, one over here and one over there. They're both in the same area, as from what I understand. But I think it's good for her. She's owning it. She's living it. She's loving it. She's making a living with it too. I mean, like she's not just she's on OnlyFans. I'm sure showing off for what she's got.
You got to work with what God gave you, right? I mean,
good for her.
Don't ignore your God-given talents.
That is a talent. That is a wonderful thing.
I'm gonna look up her only. I don't even. Is OnlyFans an app, or is it? Can I just go to like OnlyFans.com and search for people?
One way to find out.
I've never even done this. I don't even know. We're gonna find out right now. OnlyFans.
Are you really gonna?
Oh, it's just a sign in, so I have to sign up for it.
This is probably
why I've never done it. You should be able to like see the people's like profile picture at least.
Can you not?
No, it just takes you to like a page, and it's like log in.
You can't go to their page. I'm sure you can go to her page.
I don't know.
I mean, see if they have her listed.
I don't want to do it right now. Yeah, see if they have her listed, and how much is she? Because we'll pay for a month to just check it all out. I'm a little curious. This is why I always pay. Remember when they're like, "Oh, come see the snake lady," and the thing. I always fucking threw down 50 cents for that shit. I'm like,
snake lady.
Yeah, remember like at the carnivals and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Do you remember we
God, you got.
Wasn't it a snake lady? We paid for one, remember?
Yeah, I remember the snake lady. I remember where the hell we were, but that was pretty cool.
It was.
I remember. Yeah,
in the Shea Stadium parking lot or the Nassau Coliseum parking lot.
I remember when I was a kid going to the Nassau Coliseum parking lot, and they had the Harlem Globetrotters were there. They had this huge festival going on. My dad took us there, and they had this man who it was a huge tent that held maybe 100 people, a little more. And they put the kids. They said, "All right, kids, go up front." We sit up front. And the whole gimmick was it was a stage, and there was a cage right up on the top on the stage, and there was a man before your eyes changing into a gorilla. He just changed into right in front of you. I was like, all right, we got to see this. So we sat there in the tent. We're sitting on the grass under the tent. And all of a sudden, there's just a guy. He walks out. He's in the cage. They open the cage. He's standing in the cage. And he just, I'm sure they use like, projector. And he's like morphs and changes. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a real guy walking onto the stage. It was a projection walking onto the stage. We couldn't tell the difference though. And then it changed. He morphs. And all of a sudden, he's a gorilla. And I'm like, we're like, holy shit, that is insane. And he's like banging on the bars. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I can't remember moving faster in my life. All of a sudden, he bursts through the bars, and the projection comes forward. It comes toward the camera, I guess. And we're all like, oh, I don't know if it was a screen or what we were looking at. But I was like, I don't know, 7 years old. It looked pretty real to me. We were sitting front row on the grass, on the ground. And me, my brother, and my cousin, all about the same age, We went from front row in front of the stage to the corner of the tent, trying to get out under the tent. We were lifting the tent, trying to run. We were scared shitless because this gorilla all of a sudden burst through this cage, and we ran for this thing. I remember making it. It had to be in 1 second. We made it from like a 30-foot run in like a half a second. We're at the corner of this tent trying to lift it up. It's like staked into the ground with these huge metal spikes. And we're trying to get the hell out of the tent. And then our parents come running over. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody freaking scattered though. It was like someone lit a stick of dynamite. Everybody just scattered to the corners. It's unbelievable.
I thought you were going to tell the story about Snake Lady.
I don't remember there was a story with it.
You weren't there. We were at the, again, same kind of carnival, and it's like behind a thing. Like you have to pay money, and then you like walk through, like how the restrooms are in the airport. It's like open, but you can't see it. You got to kind of go this way and then go that way. And so we paid like $1 or whatever it was, $5.
I kind of remember this. I don't remember the story though.
To see the Snake Lady, and so we walk around, and it's literally a plastic snake that leads up to some woman's head. It was just sticking, like her head is just sticking up above the thing, and there's just a plastic snake thing behind her. And we got there, and it was a bunch of us. I thought you were there. And
I feel like I was there. I kind of remember this.
And there's nobody else. Like it's made for like 40 people to look at once, but there's literally nobody there but us. And we were just looking at her, and we're like, "So this is it? You just sit there the whole time?" And she's like, "Hey, I'm the Snake Lady," and we're like, "Are you sitting or standing? We can't really tell." We were just talking to the stupid person. I'm like, "You just sit here?" Like we knew it was a con, but it was just like, and then
obviously it's not a half snake, half woman, but we, what do you?
But it was like
I mean, for $1, what are you gonna expect?
Right, but it was like, let's see what they do to like. And when we got back there, like, oh, so there was just no effort to try and make this look halfway decent. And she's just like sitting there, like, what the fuck do you want from me? I remember
haven't thought about that in forever.
We stayed for an uncomfortably long amount of time where she was starting to get like a little.
It's like, all right.
She's like looking at us like most people just feel annoyed and move on at this point. We're like. Seriously though, like, are you wearing sweatpants or?
Yeah, we were kind of jerks. I feel kind of bad about that. Poor Snake Lady.
I think we were asking her like, how do you get this job? Like, are you a local hire or are you traveling along with the fucking thing?
Hey, maybe she made a good living as Snake Lady.
Maybe she did. I don't know.
I wonder if there's any shows like that still going on. Like, there's really none around here in New York. But
no.
In little towns, do they have stuff like that?
Probably. I don't
Around
know.
the world, I'm sure different countries maybe have things like that.
I don't know if they do stuff like that shitty anymore. Because the other thing too is that this was all pre-internet, so now people are like, "I'll just go there in my metaverse. It doesn't matter."
Hey, the metaverse. At least the effects will be halfway decent.
I saw this thing too the other day that the Nets are like, they're putting like 1,000 cameras on their court now, and they're capturing the game.
Oh, is it gonna be like Matrix style?
Yeah, but they're like, it's not like you just see it. It's like they're rebuilding it. Like they were making this big stink about like, oh, they call it the Netaverse, as they were calling it. And they're like, isn't this amazing? But what they're doing is they're like just capturing the motions and everything and like rebuilding it in like a video game. So when you look at it, it looks like a video game, but they're like, but no, it's the real people. And I was like watching it. I was like, yeah, but it looks like a video game.
Yeah, why wouldn't I just watch the game?
Oh, and I just watched the game, but it's like, because you can get like into all these different angles and everything. And I was like, well, then just hang a camera like they do in the football games, and then I'll get those like angles.
Well, if they've got all these cameras capturing the real people doing it, why don't we just look through all those real cameras at the real people doing it?
That's what I couldn't
Why are
understand.
they changing it into a video game look?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. I thought it was going to be like the Matrix, the way they film the Matrix scenes where they do like the bullet dodge. They have 1 million cameras going around,
right?
And they just get the same frame from every camera. Like if they have cameras in the floors and cameras in the chairs and everywhere around, they're all recording one thing, but from 1 million different angles. And that's what I thought it would get.
I'll show you, but only for like 2 seconds because we do have to go. Yeah, this is it. There's all these people like working on like their little nerd, like, just being nerds and nerdy stuff.
You're just jealous.
And they're like, look at all these cameras and they're like moving all these things. But when you look at the actual like game itself, it looks like a video game.
It's pretty good, but yeah,
It looks like a video game, but I mean,
it's
I'm
not
sure.
bad. I mean, it's an advanced looking
Yeah,
video game.
but it's like the crowd's like fake. There's no crowd if you notice. Like,
Yeah, I mean, those are the actual. If those are the actual movements and stuff, that doesn't look bad.
I don't know. I think it looks like an awful video game.
But the movements are more realistic. I mean, you look at video games, the movements are, kind of
Yeah.
stock movements.
Yeah. But they say in the thing like they rebuild it back up in like digital, and it's like, well, why don't you just show
the actual people? Why
actual
make it into video games?
It's like you can if you stick somebody on the court with a camera, they can give you those exact.
But maybe they can't, because this looks like they're recreating the game so that you can get the shot from like the foul line.
I guess so.
Because you can't get that shot with the real people.
But
It's
you know
just
what?
recreate. Yeah.
They tried to do that in hockey, where they put a camera above the net,
Yeah.
and they tried to do that. Remember, like for a couple of years, they tried to like look at this awesome cat, like because they got the robotic camera now, so they got one like right behind the net. It's like, look at this view, and
I like that view.
most hockey fans hate it. They're like, we can't.
When there's a power play and they're in your zone,
Now they
I love
use
that
it.
view.
They use it more for the power plays. Yeah, but they even if you notice, they don't go to it all the time.
No, not all the time. You gotta if they're in the zone for a while, that's a good, and they're set up. That's a good angle to get,
People
especially
are
when they
used to
do a goal
watching it
replay
from the sides, though. That's how they're used to seeing it.
Yeah, but if there's action around the net, and you have to look at like a save or a goal, that's a good angle to have. That, and I missed the one that's in the net. I like the camera that was in the net. Not every building has that.
Yeah, I don't think they're really doing that much anymore.
I liked that one. That was a good one.
All right, we've done almost 2.5 hours.
I think that should just about do it.
We're making up for Friday. I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna make it.
Oh boy.
All right. You got anything else? 2 vaginas. I mean, that's.
I think, how do you always end on 2 vaginas?
Always end on 2 vaginas. Everybody
That's
knows
what she
that.
said.
Yeah. I called. Janine wasn't here tonight because she was at a funeral.
Right.
And I called her a pussy, and she didn't respond to it, and I feel really bad about it now.
Well, why was she texting from a funeral? Is my question.
I don't know, but can I defend myself at least to you? Because
no, there's no excuse for that.
When I canceled,
she's at a funeral and you're ragging on her. That's no good.
When I canceled the show when I said I couldn't do the show on Friday, she wrote me and called me a pussy. And I put it on Instagram stories to show everybody, like, this is the real Janine, everybody. Like, by the way, I also, when Janine calls either one of us a pussy, I think it's the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't know what it is about her calling us that just makes me giggle like a schoolgirl.
Is it I think gender.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Gender, political viewpoints, like it's role reversals. I don't know, but I just think it's hysterical when she does. So when she was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna make the show tonight. I'm at a wake," and I was like, "Oh, you're a pussy." I was like, "Oh, this will be funny. She'll laugh at it." It was like 7 hours ago. She hasn't responded.
Yeah, she hates you. Trying to make her laugh at a funeral.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, calling her a pussy at a funeral.
That was the first mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she hates us. Well, you anyway.
All right, Friday pickles, Oreos dunked in pickle juice. So get that together if you want to do that with us.
Double stuffed, because I'm getting double stuffed. I can't go anything lower than double stuffed.
Standard stuff.
No, I need more. I need double stuff.
The cream to cookie ratio is out of whack on that.
Once I've gone double stuffed, once you go double stuffed, you can't go back.
That's what the 2 vagina girl says.
Right?
Oh, that's what she said. That's what she said.
That's how we end.
That's what she said.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget Jumpstart Coffee Company, link in the description. Also, our merch, link also in the description. Good job, Frankie C.
And you too. Feel better.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go